on a scientist to tell us about flat Earth. Let's see if I echo in here. Just join us now. You finally join us. Hello, anyone out there? Anyone there? Check.
Yes. Peace.
Amut Royal. Is that Amut Royal?
Yes.
Okay, peace.
Peace.
Is that your first time here?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mark Ryder's going to be discussing the flat Earth theory today. So
Interested.
I'm not an astrophysicist, so I'm waiting to see what he's going to present. If he's Mark, undo your mic because I don't know if you're muted. So I don't know if you're trying to talk under your mic. And while you're doing what you're doing, I'm going to share my screen. So what's your theory on the flat Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, you're here.
I just want Richard to send me the. Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Rich?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you, Mark.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Rich. I'm going to get my cousin to come on. Can you send me the link for your channel on my WhatsApp so I can send it to him quickly? Sorry.
It's on your WhatsApps. I'll send it to you before.
Let me send it. Let me send it. Let me send it. Yeah, I'm going to send it to him. 1 second.
Amut, you there, bro?
Yeah.
You got any theory on the flat Earth? Are you a flat earther or?
I lean towards both. Both make sense, but since I've been getting into them, like reading more about the flat Earth, I feel like I gravitate towards that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you want me to do, Mark? You got the link, yeah?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of send it. I've sent him the link that you sent me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that will be enough to get into the chat.
It should be.
Yeah, I'll send it to him anyway.
Is that Rion? Is that Rion?
Yeah. Oh, is he on there?
He's just popped in, yeah.
He just popped in, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's him. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah.
He's not showing up yet to be added, but he's popped in.
Yeah. Where's your camera today, Rich?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it on soon. My wife is just walking up and down here.
All right.
When she kind of.
How's it going, people? We're talking about the flat Earth today, yeah.
Yeah, Amut is new here, and obviously your brethren's new, but he's not.
Greetings.
His device is not connected, so I don't know if he's got mic or anything. Because I don't know what's going on.
Okay,
but
you just on mute.
Say that again.
Just on mute. I can listen in.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm a learner right now.
Yeah,
no worries, man. If you feel like you need to chime in when you're ready, bro.
I've got that flat Earth model here. Yeah, I found something basically to kind of combat Newton's theory of gravity, because Tesla had another theory that works with the spinning disk theory, and that basically it challenges Newton's theory of gravity. See, the thing about gravity is, yeah, because that's one of the biggest arguments with flat Earth is that gravity. It's easy to kind of produce the formula of gravity, but it's hard. Gravity is hard to kind of prove. It's hard to measure.
But they say, the scientists, that if we don't have gravity, then most things would fly off, basically,
Yeah,
right?
but there's so many different formulas, calculus ways to calculus gravity. Where's the video that I had earlier on here? Okay, I've got this video here. Shall I share my screen?
Yeah. Before you do that, yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
show you what I've got on there. Can
Mhm.
you see? Can you see my screen? Do I
Yeah,
need
I
to
can
make
see
it
your
bigger?
screen. Yeah.
You can see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. So yeah. So you can see where it says the water above the firmament, and that's what you was talking about, right? Where the stars are.
Which is also worth noting that that's mentioned in Genesis in the Bible.
Okay.
It's all,
Okay. We'll
and
go
it's also
through that.
mentioned, yeah.
And then you've got the moon over this opposite the sun.
Yeah.
So with this model, you can see that the moon.
Mhm.
I mean, because you were saying the other day that the moon and the sun goes round, like they're always, one's at 12 and one's at 6. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. 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 Well, the Earth is stationary, and the sun and the moon are rotating around the Earth, as opposed to the official story that the Earth is rotating around the sun.
Okay, so
So
the Earth
stationary.
is still, you're saying, then the Earth
We're
doesn't,
station. Yeah, the Earth is stationary,
right?
and the sun and the moon are celestial bodies that are rotating around us. That's the flat Earth model, anyway.
Okay. So so in this model,
Yeah.
the sun seems closer to the Earth than the moon. I don't know if that's intentional. Is that how flat
What
earthers?
model is this? Is this what is this? Okay, so
This is
this is
just a model I pull up on Wiki,
okay.
and
Okay.
there's many different models, so to speak. But I just clicked on this one.
Should I put the model up that we had last week?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to show. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
basically, you see
Yeah.
where it says Sheol at the bottom. A Sheol
Yeah.
is like a
Yeah.
Hebrew word for hell. And then you see
Okay.
where we have the stars here, and then we have
Yeah.
the mountains and the sea,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then we have the great deep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to let you put up your model, and then let me just
Alright.
stop sharing. Okay, you can put up your model. Yeah, I don't know if your brethren's trying to come in, but he's
Oh, that's my cousin. Yeah, Rion. Yeah.
Maybe you need
I don't.
need a
Maybe,
mic
maybe
or something.
I think he's probably just gonna watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, let me put up yours on the screen then. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So. All right. That's the. You could say the official flat Earth model. It's overall. So, you see when they say that the sun dips below the horizon and some parts of the Earth is dark, because someone said last week, how can you explain that one hemisphere is dark and the other hemisphere is light?
That was my
So if you
brethren.
yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
Maticus or something said that.
Oh, Magnetus. He's in the chat,
Magnetus,
He's need to click the link and
yeah.
at
So I
least say
think
one or two.
Magnetus was saying something about how do you explain one hemisphere of the Earth is dark and the other is light if it's a flat Earth. But then we have to also, we're not saying the Earth is not spherical, but it's a flat disc, and it says that in the Abrahamic religions as well.
Yeah, I've got some Bible quotes here where it says that in the Bible, because
Yeah.
I don't, am I right to say that most Bible flat earthers are Christians?
Are Christian, yeah. Most flat earthers are Christian. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, as we can see in this model, it's stationary, and I know they were saying something about the gravity, but they were saying that what creates gravity is is the light of the what Tesla was saying. The Earth creates its own magnetic field due to the light. The
Due to
kinetic
the due to the sunlight.
the kinetic energy produced by sunlight. Yeah.
Okay, so who was saying that? Tesla?
Tesla, yeah, I've got a video for that as well, right here.
So that flat Earth model that I'm looking on there, yeah, is that how they say it works?
Yes.
Okay, so do the sun and the moon, do they have a constant rate of, like, what are they, in a gravitational dance, or like what makes them stay in that orbit?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's the same question we can ask for the alternative theory of what keeps the Earth in the orbit of the sun. I guess it's the same argument. What keeps the
But
celestial body?
they will say gravity, right?
But we
It's
don't get
called-
gravity. We don't get gravity in space, do we? So how can you explain that if there's zero gravity in space, how can you say gravity holds the celestial bodies? Keeps what? How can we say that? Oh, but they'll say it's the gravitational pull of the bodies,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But then that
That's what
doesn't
I was
really
just
make
gonna
sense
say.
to me. Because all right, here's an example. I'm digressing here a bit, but does anyone here believe in the moon landing? Does anyone here believe that we went to the moon?
I believe that.
You believe that?
Yeah.
How did they? Okay, jet propulsion requires oxygen to combust. Am I right?
I'm not
Rocket
really
energy.
I'll just listen to what you're saying. I'm not really an
Yeah.
astrophysicist.
All right. So they landed on the moon. How did they get off the moon? How did they create combustion to get off the moon?
Is that not possible?
I'm sure it requires oxygen to create combustion.
Yeah, but couldn't you mix that up in like them big tanks they've got for a short burst of it to get
I'm
caught
not
in the
sure.
orbit? They could do that, right?
I, it's my understanding that you can't really create fire and combustion in an environment that's not oxygenated.
So you're saying that because they can't create the combustion to come off the moon, that's why they didn't go.
Well, yeah, I feel I have questions there. I have questions. So hence why I say we probably can't believe everything that NASA tells us.
Yeah, here what I've got with the flat. Here what my point is with the flat Earth model. The model that you're showing there. I mean,
Yeah.
if I could stop it, right?
Yeah.
There was one part right where it gets to like the Horn of Africa.
Yeah.
It's covering half of the world. So
Yeah.
I wanted to know if that's the spin rate that it's constantly moving at, because if it's like you're saying that one part gets night, one parts get day, then how do we have the seasons? Looking at that model.
Well, I mean, I guess then we have to question the spin rate, don't we?
Yeah, because if you're looking at that, if they've given that as an example, at some point, if you're saying that when the moon's at one part, like now where we are, it's nighttime. So I'm expecting that where the sun is there, it's supposed to be somewhere over in Africa, that over that side, correct?
Yeah.
In the south.
All right.
But then if it's spinning at that rate, then how do we get winter, summer, spring, and fall?
All right.
So you're saying at that rate, they have to have slowed down at some point.
Okay, well, the thing is, if we look at the normal model they give us about the seasons, the Earth is rotating around the sun, but what creates the seasons is the wobble. The Earth is not just spinning;
No, hold on.
There's
Are you talking about the circle Earth or the flat Earth?
the circle Earth. But I'm kind of,
Okay.
I'm my theory is kind of, it's probably this. They say there's a wobble, so as the Earth is spinning, the Earth is also sort of tilting
Yeah.
as it's spinning, which creates the seasons.
All right.
But maybe on this model, the sun could be creating the same effect.
Yeah, but how could
There
it
could be
do that? Because if it's in its because right now it's orbiting, correct?
Mhm.
So the way it's orbiting now, looking at that model,
Yeah.
it can only be in. I mean, I don't know really how it's in that bind. I don't know if
Mm.
they're saying that there's
Mm.
something in the North Pole where it's bind to, but whatever it's bind to, it must be invisible. But
Yeah.
if it's
Some type of
spinning at that
force.
rate,
Yeah. Yeah.
then we can't get the 4 seasons.
Mm.
So at some point it would have to slow down,
Yeah.
and the moon would have to slow down. Then you have to start saying, then how do we get day and night
Yeah.
in with that model?
Mhm.
That's my question. So
Yeah. I mean, there's some forces that we can't explain. Christians would say that's down to the creator. You know, if we're talking about the machinery of heaven, the machinery of the constellations, which we don't fully understand.
but do you believe that the moon is spherical?
No,
You believe the moon
no,
is flat as well, yeah?
no, because we only see one side of the moon. If it's
Why is it?
spherical, apparently we only see one side, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's because the way it's rotated in such a way that we're only going to ever see one side. Now,
Yeah, but even that flat Earth model there that you've got
mm,
there, if I mean, I don't know how they do that, but if you're standing, I don't know what island that is where the moon is going past now, but if you're
yeah,
standing on the other side of that island, sure you can see the other side of the moon.
yeah,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
So looking at this model here, if it can't explain the seasons and it doesn't look, it can't explain the seasons. I don't know what's binding them for them to just move
yeah,
in that
mm,
spinning. I don't know what force. There's obviously a
yeah,
force that looking at this flat Earth model that's
yeah,
spinning them that
yeah,
must go against science. This is not really scientific
mm,
because I don't have the greatest science mind, but just looking at that, it doesn't make
yeah,
any sense to me.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tricky because, like you said, if we're not really versed in science, then we can't really say. But I mean, there could be more to it than that. I mean, there could be the sun could still be rotating and still be moving as well. It could be still changing position. It could be changing its it,
Whatever it
it could
does,
be moving wider. It could be making a wider orbit as it goes round. And
yeah, it could
yeah,
be,
it could
but
be. Yeah,
it could be, but
but
that's
we can see them
speculation.
like, yeah,
Because for the Earth to be bound in that rotation,
yeah,
even if it goes wide or goes in or does whatever it does,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
been doing that same rotation for years.
yeah. Well, centuries. Yeah,
For well, yeah. So
yeah,
at some point there is something that.
yeah.
Why is everyone dropping out and coming back in? Is there someone kicking them off or something? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So at some point that must be something must be holding the two of them for the. It's like a clock
Yeah,
because it looks like a watch.
it's like it's clockwork. Yeah,
So we know that we have to. Well, we've got certain watches where you can just move and it would just keep the watch running like certain Rolexes. Yeah,
hmm
but on on an ordinary watch, you have a mechanism inside the watch that keeps the
Yeah,
hands turning.
keep it turning. Yeah,
So in this mechanism, what is actually
yeah,
spinning the moon and the sun?
mm,
Because to me, that looks like gravity.
yeah. Well,
So is
yeah.
there another model we can look at? Because this model seems to be debunked quick.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, if we look at this model,
Right.
so I mean, it kind of looks like we can see the path here. I mean, could that work?
Well, the sun and the moon is in a different
Or
place
still,
now, right? So
yeah,
are
yeah.
they?
So the sun, and that's a completely different orbit. So it's going actually underneath us, isn't it?
Well, it seems like it, yeah.
Mm.
So is that how it works in this month? You see, there's a few of these models, but when you start looking on them,
Yeah,
like you can pick holes in them, correct?
yeah. But
Because
then
if
the
the
thing is,
sun, if
yeah,
this model, if the sun goes underneath,
mm,
that means the whole it's not even shining light on the earth.
essentially,
Nowhere at all. The whole world's in darkness.
mm, mm,
Do you understand? And the moon
yeah,
does the same thing.
yeah,
And the stars are actually outside of the
yeah,
atmosphere. It's not even inside.
yeah. The thing is, all the theories are flawed in a sense, though.
All the theories,
I feel
apart
like,
from the one that we click on the round
well,
Earth.
okay, so the round Earth. I mean, NASA keeps showing us these images of Earth, right? The same images, yeah.
Correct.
Where are these images coming from?
So are you
I would like to
saying?
ask, and I would
Are
like to
you?
ask where. Sorry,
Go on. No, go.
I'd like to ask, when they take these images, where are the satellites? Where are the so-called 88? Is it 88,000? Correct me if I'm wrong. 88,000 orbiting satellites. Where are they?
Okay. So we understand that some of them are Photoshop.
Photoshop, CGI.
So are you saying that NASA has never been outside the atmosphere?
It's very, very difficult to believe, considering we have the theory of that Van Allen belt, and they
Right.
say no one's been able to pass through that barrier of radiation. When they did try to send a monkey through there, the monkey evaporated. So I mean, I don't know. That's I mean, there's also there's speculation that the Van Allen belt is the firmament that they speak of in the Bible. I've heard people say that.
Yeah. That's where it
You know,
becomes sticky once they start
that's where it's come
introducing the
sticky. But when
Bible.
we're talking about this Van Allen belt, this barrier of radiation, this is where I have to start asking questions about when did they break that barrier?
Mm. For me,
Mm,
I don't really have to go through what flat earthers go through because I believe in gravity.
mm,
It may seem impossible when people look on the earth like that and they go, that where are they getting this? Where are they getting that? And
mm.
we're so far advanced in technology now that are you saying that we're not able to take a picture of the earth?
And
And every one of those pictures that NASA sent is Photoshop?
I think there's reason to not trust NASA, because there's many reasons to not trust NASA, because there's been so much debunked theories. We know, with the flag blowing on the moon, you know, even certain astronauts have said that when they went to the moon, there's so many different stories that they said that they weren't, they met extraterrestrials there, and there was things there. I mean, we haven't been back since. When was the last time we went back to the moon? Why haven't we gone back there?
Yeah, but which astronaut said that?
It was the guy that was with I mean, Neil Armstrong, Neil Armstrong, for some reason, the first man on the moon didn't give an account. He didn't have one interview.
All right.
That's quite strange. Because you'd think the first man on the moon would have something to say. But the guy that was with him, is it Buzz Aldrin?
Yeah.
Buzz Aldrin has a different story. Buzz Aldrin said that we were told not to go back to the moon and never really gave an account as to why. But don't you think it's a bit suspicious that we don't have one interview of the first man on the moon?
Yeah, I think that the first moon landing, you remember when they were in the race with Russia? I think that first moon landing was a fake one. But
Why
I
would
think
they do
they've
that?
been to the moon because they were trying to race
Beat
Russia.
the Russians.
It was an international space race.
Yeah.
And if they could get to the moon first, I think that one there was a false flag.
Neil Armstrong is G noughts for alien. Yeah, that's true. Neil Armstrong, yeah. I've heard that one.
But I do think that the Earth is not perfectly shaped round, but it's spherical, and we have gravity.
Okay.
So now, if people are going to use the Bible to say, it says that in the Bible, you see that same flat Earth model you was looking at?
Yeah.
How is it just floating? The rocks, like
But
the
then
Earth. How is it floating in midair?
Can I ask you this then?
Yeah.
This Earth model, how is this Earth just floating?
Because of gravity.
All right, so we're talking about
the gravitational pull around the sun.
So we're talking about gravity here. Okay, yeah, okay. Does anyone else want to come and have a little and have? Does anyone else have an opinion?
Yeah, I got opinion. So my thing is, I feel like maybe the moon and sun are interlocked with the magnetic field of the Earth, so it gives off a spiraling effect that we see throughout nature and the universe. So the same way galaxies look, the same way the sun and moon's moving through the atmosphere.
And the symbol of the spiral is used throughout many cultures, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my most to make sense of it the most.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
There have to be some kind of magnetic force, and like the ancients used to say it, that holds these things together. But I know there's deeper science to it. We're not even scratching the wood yet, where people are saying why this, why that, why this, why that. But when you start debunking, like one of the things is like, I think you were saying, how can you see a ship? And if you still have your telescope and you peer into this, you can still see the ship.
Yeah.
Like it's not going down. But we have, like, even when back as far as the Greeks, when they were measuring that the Earth is spherical, using a scientific method. And I find out that when I hear flat earthers talk, some of the things are based upon the Bible, but a lot of the things is almost like science. They haven't provided their own scientific experience.
Yeah. Well,
apart from putting a level on the plane and see if the plane dips,
but I think that's quite a compelling argument, because science says that there should be a curvature every 8 miles if the Earth is spherical.
Right.
But why do we see ships on the horizon? That's the question. Why do we? Why are we able to see ships on the horizon if there's a curvature? Do you see how it doesn't really make sense?
Yeah, but when you say you see ships on the horizon, through the naked eye or through like a telescope?
You can see it through the naked eye. If you stand on the coast, if you've been to the beach, you can see ships up to hundreds of miles away.
I'm not too sure about
No,
that.
am I wrong?
Hundreds of miles away? No. I've never seen them. I know you can see them,
So you're
but
basically
you
saying,
can't
so you're
see
saying,
like them proper.
So you're saying the ships do dip below the horizon?
Yeah, because like I think they say the first thing to dip below the horizon is the back of the sea, the back of the ship, from scientific experience and from what people's written.
Yeah.
So if the flat earthers, because I've listened to a few of them, and a few of them, when they make their case, then they run back to the Bible and they'll say, they'll quote something about God saying that the earth is flat as a penny or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but they don't want to say that, well, there's a part in it in the Bible where it says the earth is rest on the pillows. Correct? So your actual flat earth model should have 4 pillows underneath it if we're going to go by the Bible.
Is that what the Bible says?
Yeah. But what are the pillows rest on? What are the pillows resting on?
But then we don't really fully understand the nature of this reality, do we?
Well, then we go into speculation.
Yeah.
But if we're following the science will tell you that the earth is spherical and there's gravity. Gravity, if there's no gravity, then how comes things don't fly off? Like when you take an airplane, if there's no gravity, how comes it just don't fly off into space?
But then again, if the earth is spinning at over 1,000 miles an hour, how come we can't feel it?
No, I'm asking you a question first. You're asking me another question.
Okay, go on.
I'm saying if there's no gravity, how comes things don't just fly off the earth? Like when you take an airplane, how comes the plane don't just get sucked up in the air with no gravity, like flinging out into space?
Yeah, but that'll be the.
Is it because gravity is light?
Or maybe it's our atmosphere, or like you say, the Earth's magnetic field.
What, that's holding the plane?
Yeah. I've got a video for Tesla.
The same way the magnetic field, it comes inwards, it will be going outwards as well. So it's a polar opposite. So that makes it neutral, doesn't it? So that's how we're able to pivot through how we measured the atmosphere. We've made technology based on how we can navigate through it.
So you're saying because there's a magnetic force in the earth.
Yeah, that's so pulling and pushing outwards both ways.
Okay. So that would have to be north and south, right?
Yeah.
But then on a flat earth model, how would you say the north and south is just like the north and south on a flat earth model, yeah? Are you talking about a flat earth model or are you talking about a spherical?
Oh, I don't know. I'll say, well, if you're saying the flat earth, there's no South Pole. Was it South Pole?
Yeah.
So it's just like dirt, mud under the earth, basically.
Well, that's what flat earthers are saying.
I believe that there's a possibility of flat earth existing as well as inner earth as well. With because we have a core sun in our earth, right?
That's correct.
So I just think the way they talk about it is not the same way that it actually is. Actually how it operates. I feel like there's an atmosphere within the earth as well.
Yeah. I kind of lean towards that as well. The hollow earth.
Yeah.
And that there's a sun within the earth. Yeah, I feel there is a sun in the earth and opposing force.
because they tell us if you it's in the hieroglyphs in it. I haven't
Mhm.
personally read it, but from experts that's
Mhm.
deciphered it, there was a
Mhm.
war that broke out with the Anunnaki, which was Enki and Enlil, and Enlil got pissed off and bombed the Earth in it, and when he done that, a big piece of rock formed out of that, which created the moon. So the moon wasn't always there, but the sun was
Mhm.
at one point.
When you say that's in the hieroglyphs, that story, are you sure
Yeah,
about that?
I'm not a million percent sure, but that's what's been presented.
Yeah, because that story is from Mesopotamia.
Oh, so isn't that the same story though? It all ties in with Enki and Enlil. It's just remix from different civilizations, which
Yeah,
are
I agree
basically
with that. Yeah,
so it's just kind of spiraled down to the Abrahamic faith, trying to tell the story in a, I'll
agreed.
say, different way. But I feel like they lean more towards the masculine principle instead of the feminine, because that's really the creator of everything. But they subjugate that and focus on the masculine.
Agreed. But you have to remember that the Mesopotamian stories is different from the Bible. I don't know if you've read the story, but Sakurai Sitchin was the first one to start writing about the Anunnaki in his book called The 12 Planets. So it's kind of like a creation story, but a creation story from a Mesopotamian or a Babylonian. I can't remember how old the texts are because I read it long time ago. But it's from Mesopotamia and it was written in cuneiform. You won't
Mm.
find the same story in Egypt, but you will say it's similar, but there's different philosophies to the creation stories.
Yeah, because
So
at the end of the day, everything that's happened, it all ends with a great cataclysm event that wipes out
Yeah.
like most of the species. And I feel
Yeah.
like we're at that brink again. I'm not leaning towards art because they say history repeats, and we can see in the stories how similar they are.
that's correct.
But if that was to happen, I feel like it will happen during this transitional age we're in, which is the Aquarian age, where it says in the Anunnaki story that we entered basically the seven plagues. So on the cosmic clock, we're at a time where there's supposed to be great cataclysm events supposed to happen, and it's a clear sign because the sun, the radiation of the sun, is penetrating through our atmosphere, which is heating everything up, and like
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
basically trying to restore itself from the damage that's been
Mhm.
inflicted already.
Mhm.
So it will do anything to get rid of parasites
Mm.
and try and keep alive. In the process, of course, good bacteria will die, but it's just natural selection, I guess.
Mm.
So I feel like
Mm.
all of it is going to play out again, in my opinion, in a
Interesting.
couple of years.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
remember the sevens when you was talking about the seven plagues, because the seven plagues are spoken about in the book of Revelation as well, right?
Yeah, I was going to say Revelation kind of
When
speaks
he
to this.
came and when the angel
Yeah.
came and removed the seven seals. Remember they talk about that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they say as well as that, like I'm trying to pin this together, innit? I had this thought where they say they've only discovered like the humans know about only like 11 or 12 dimensions. But then I feel like there's actually 14 within our realm or universe. So there's
14,
14
14, so
layers.
like dimensions basically.
Yeah. Is anyone
Yeah, I've
like
kind of heard that
touch on
still.
that? Because like the seven hells and then the seven heavens. and you add it up, 14.
Yeah, I've heard scientists say that there's like 12 dimensions, like the scientists, which is why they created CERN, the
Yeah,
particle collider, to kind of, they're trying to access the other dimensions of reality.
Can I answer your question?
Mhm.
If there's 7 heavens, how does it work? How does it work? Why is there 7?
is that a question for me or Mark?
Anyone can
Well,
answer.
well, I mean, we know that there's no, scientists say there's no such thing as empty space in it. So there's reality exists on multiple different frequencies, just the same way you can have different radio waves vibrating particles at different levels, just like air. You know, you can't see it, but it's there. The same way you can't see Wi-Fi signals going through atmosphere, there's no such thing as empty space. There's other dimensions operating on different frequencies
Yeah,
of
but
reality.
why would you have 7 heavens?
Why seven?
Yeah.
Me personally, I think there's 9.
Or
Or
9. Or 9. Why would you have that?
because 9 is the
Highest
is
number.
yeah, but
Yeah,
also
but what are the heavens for? What are they for? Why were they created? Heavens, somewhere where we go when we die, correct?
I feel like when heaven is like is this, I feel like it's the purest state of when the universe was first was like came into existence.
Mm.
Then
I
we
wouldn't
can't
say
call it
from the
heaven.
start. I
Then
wouldn't say from
we
how.
can't call it heaven then, can we? Because
But
that's
then
a
that's
different science, correct?
but then that's if we're talking heaven, like, do you mean heaven in a biblical sense, or
This is
I
what I'm
think
asking
yeah,
because I have to know when I'm talking about religion or science. So when you start mentioning 7 heavens and 7 earth, it says that in the Quran, but what does it mean?
I mean,
Or it could either there's a within aspect and a without aspect, and as the within, if you're interpreting the message esoterically, it will be um, the 7 chakra centers that go that the normal ones, and then obviously past your feet, there's 7 chakras that go into earth, which represent hell, but it's not really hell. It's just like your lower self
the lower self,
grounded
yeah,
into
yeah.
this is reality, really.
Okay, chakras is a Hindu teaching, am I correct?
Yeah. So they're obviously
Can they
when in
prove chakras?
yeah,
Mm.
How did they prove it?
qigong,
That's an art. How do
or
you
it's
prove chakras?
manipulation of energy, and they say that there's centers where
Yeah,
energy.
that's what they say. But when we're talking about a scientific method, and this is where I want your mind to go.
Okay.
When we're talking about chakras, 7 heavens, it's religious talk mixed with science. Science is different from religion. So when I ask about the chakras or the 7 heavens, those things are not, because heaven as we know it is a religious talk. Heaven is somewhere where we go where we die. So I'm saying, why would we have 9 of them? Why would we have 9 heavens? No answer, because it's just things that biblical people say.
I'm seeing it from a perspective of a state of consciousness. Actually, I'm not referring to a place hereafter, because I know that when you enter this realm, that's actually death, and you
That's correct.
leave, that's actual life.
That's
And
correct.
in the period whilst you're in it, it's life, but there's a
That's
greater life after as well.
that's correct. That's a subjective belief, though, correct? Even though I
Ye-
agree with you, but it's
Yeah,
still a subjective belief, correct?
yeah, I guess.
Okay. So we can say we go to heaven or blah blah, but when you put it thus, when you say consciousness, I believe that after I die we go to a higher place or a lower place, regardless of what. then the religious talk comes out of it.
Well,
You understand?
based on the frequency you left off here, I feel like that's where you're going due to like in your next incarnation. Well,
Is that because like people say energy can't be destroyed?
yeah, it just transforms.
Can energy be destroyed?
Maybe with CERN, I'm not sure, but to my knowledge, I don't
I
think
think it's
so.
my understanding that energy can't. It can only be transferred.
So energy can't be destroyed.
Oh, no, it just goes where it's required and can
You're
only be
willing to bet
transferred.
£100?
Not you, no.
Okay. So energy can be destroyed.
I know what books you got in your arsenal.
Yeah. So energy can be destroyed. What I don't want to promote
Yeah.
is pseudo argumentation. So when you go, if you're talking to a Muslim and you say, he says to you, there's 7 heavens and 7 hell. And I say to him, what are the 7 heavens for? He would either say to you that it depends on the crime that you've committed on this planet, depends on where you go. So if you're like a rank, so let's say we had a man like say Hitler then. Hitler, if there's 7 heavens, then Hitler's not going to go into the 7 heavens. He's going to go where the 7 hells are, correct? So the 7 hells, he was probably at the lowest part with his crimes, him and other people like Genghis Khan. And then people who are like, do minor crimes, they end up in hell. But then people who are good, there's 7 heavens, correct? I'm just going off the religious talk. So there's 7 heavens. The first heaven, what's the first heaven for? Is that for good people? Because you must have done good to go to heaven, correct?
But then, is it?
Who's judging you based on the acts of good and bad?
But then we're
Your own consciousness or God? If you're referring to
what is good and what is evil? I mean, what is good and evil?
I'm only going by the religious talk just to show you how asinine they are and fallacious. Because if you have 7 heavens, then you must say it depends on the crime that you've committed. Then suppose I said, well, I've been good all my life. Do I get to go to the 7th heaven? How do I get to the 7th heaven? This is religious talk. It's not science.
In my humble opinion, I'll say, like, if I was in religion, I'll have a complete different answer. But now, I'll say that because religion keeps you in a state of shame and guilt because they believe that they're created in sin. So my thing would be if they're obviously they know that they're trying and they're doing good and they're repenting and that, but that keeps them in a state of like regret in a way. Like, so I'll say that they'll just literally, because now I don't really believe the concept of just going to one place and then it's just ever eternal. Like you have the choice of going into different realms, experiencing different bodies. So
Have you been reading the Hermetica?
I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
But
You need to
I
read
think
it.
I listened to the audio book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When you talk such, then that's fine. But when you start talking, when they start talking about religious people, when they say when you died and the soul goes on to heaven or you get judged, and like what you just said, that most people, they keep up religious practices because they feel like we were born in sin. Correct?
Yeah.
But how was we born in sin? Do you know sin was another name for the moon?
And that's why God is called, well, Allah is referred to as Nana Sin.
That's correct.
Nanasin. Okay.
Yeah.
The sin was the name for the moon was sin. And in Kabbalah, when we talk about the soul descending, the last descending, the last part of that is the moon. Yesod. So therefore, what is the sign of the moon talking about the flat earth? It moves in a sine wave. Hence we know that the earth is spherical. It moves in a sine wave, and the sine wave look like a S. So they say you're born in sin. Why are you born in sin? Because you must have committed a crime in the heavens. So that yet they're saying that you have a soul that was pure light, as they say, and now you're housed in a body.
So we're
Now
so
because
are we
now
fallen
because
then?
you're held in the body
Mm.
and you've inhabited the body, you've sinned. So I'm going to ask them, how have we sinned?
Well, I don't even gravitate towards that because the whole story of Adam and Eve sounds like a genetic splicing program, in my humble opinion as
Same.
well.
That's what I think as well.
Because
Mm.
if we know that the black woman created life, how can a
Yeah,
man's rib
yeah. But
come?
but we also know the rib contains the most DNA strands, like in science, that the rib is where
Yeah, but
when
listen,
when they
listen,
take
listen,
DNA samples, they take it from the bone marrow in the rib.
listen,
Even to,
listen, listen, listen. Where was the Garden of Eden?
in today's geography,
Yeah. Where was it?
some say it was Ethiopia.
Once you start saying some say, it means
Yeah.
you don't know.
I
Mm.
have three places: is either
And once you
America.
can't find 1 second, once you can't find the garden, it's pointless of me talking about Adam and Eve. Because now you're gonna have to use that same concept to tell me, and you can choose any race you want. Black, white, Chinese, Greek, I don't care which one you use. Tell me how two people created every race in the world. I'll mute my mic.
Like I say, it's I don't know. I feel like the whole Adam and Eve story is a metaphor, and I like you say, I feel like Adam is spoken of in the plural. Like Adam is a race, or could be atom,
Adamites.
Adamites, or atom, like the beginning, the first species, the first
I feel
creation.
like it's from the Hindu race because the word Abraham as well, Abraham. So
Well,
Brahma,
Ibrahim. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Brahma,
Mm.
like the H where is it? I could get something out in a sec, but yeah, I feel like it ties in with the Hindu race. I feel like because they have straight hair and they're very um melanated beings, so I don't know if it's actual melanin in them. If anyone can confirm.
There's conflicting stories because I've just said, how can you get all the race from Adam and Eve? Mark then said it's a group of people, correct?
Yeah.
Is that group of people, were they all one race or were they all different race?
Well, I mean that's open for speculation.
And that's what happens when you deal with religion.
Yeah. But like we were saying
You're,
yesterday, we were saying that Cain and Abel was apparently the children, the first children of Adam and Eve.
that's correct.
But yet he was casted out of
Of
he was
Eden.
put a mark. They put a mark on Cain so that others wouldn't know. So that others would know that he had sinned. So who are the others? So I say that it is a race.
Right. So the Bible writers, at such an important part of the story, forgot to say who the other people were.
Adamites.
So you can say Adamites, but we don't have no A, or we weren't speaking English 4,000, 6,000 BCE.
Mm.
So why would they use a word like Adam, which is Hebrew? Adamah is Hebrew. Hawa is Eve. That's just translated in English. So God made two female. He made a male. He put the male to sleep, cut his ribs, took the blood from his ribs, and make a woman because he saw that the man was lonely. Didn't God know he was going to be lonely?
But then we still have the question of who were the first Homo sapiens and who were there had to be
You
the
know what
first
that question is? That question is, I don't
Don't
know.
know. Don't know. I mean, I feel like Genesis kind of speaks of like an extraterrestrial intervention in some parts. It sounds like.
You remember when I said to you that over there in the Middle East, they had the sun must have been burning them.
Yeah.
And they must have been hallucinating. It can only be those where the stories come from, because every story that you're reading me is from the Middle East. Enlil, Enki, the Anunnaki. They can talk about the Anunnaki and Enki them. Hold on, Tiffany, I got the camera.
Okay, but even in science, they say there's a history called the dark period where
Yeah, you can go.
human beings had an accelerated growth in consciousness that they can't account for, where we went from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens.
Okay.
So we basically went from sort of like indigenous cave dwellers basically to having consciousness.
What, like Neanderthals?
Well, yeah. There was a part of human history that they when they go back where we were sort of like almost like animals, and all of a sudden we became civilized.
What part of history was that?
I'll have to go into the archives for that.
So the flat Earth conversation's dead then, yeah? Or
I
you
have
just
one
need.
more thing to touch on that. So
Yeah.
basically, I've been monitoring the moon for the past couple of days, yeah, and
Yeah.
Have you
can
seen the
see it.
moon tonight?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks
Yeah,
mystical.
it's red. Yeah.
Ooh, I haven't even seen it yet, though.
Yeah.
So I've been monitoring it though, and I've been seeing it throughout the day and throughout the night, like both.
Yeah. I see it in the day as well.
Yeah, so I've been
You find
thinking
that's
like,
quite
how's it?
strange as well.
Go on.
Because I never recall throughout my years, like those times, yeah, like towards sunset, yeah, I'll start seeing it them times, but I'm seeing it early in the morning, like
Yeah.
early throughout the day, like going on with my day, I'm still seeing it,
Yep.
and yeah,
Yep. And it's kind of small. It's kind of small up in this. It's like in the
yeah,
northernmost point. It's in the northernmost point of the sky.
yeah.
And it's the moon's there and the sun's shining at the same time. So what's that about? So this is why I say there's so much to this reality that we don't understand, and I feel there are certain lies being told. Like I just it just doesn't make sense.
Have you ever heard of the story of Samson?
Yeah.
You know who Samson was?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
He
You
was,
know
yeah,
who Samson was?
he had his locks cut off by Delilah.
Yeah.
The strength of it was in his hair.
Yeah. So he was a strong person, correct?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he killed 1,000 men with a jawbone in the Bible?
That wasn't when he pushed the pillars, no?
No. He killed a man. Something was going on, and he picked up a jawbone and killed 1,000 men.
I don't remember. Don't recall that. No.
Yeah, that's right.
The time I recall is when they had him chained in the in the Colosseum or something, and he pushed the pillars. And
Hold on a minute.
he dropped on the people.
Hold on a minute.
I feel that's symbolic as well, with Delilah cutting off his locks.
Tell me when you can see my screen.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it before me. I don't even see it. Okay, I see it now. Can you see it good though? Let me
You might have to zoom in a bit.
zoom in a bit. My computer moves so slow, man. Can you see it?
Yeah. Judges 15:50.
Get this off. What the hell, man?
If you're on a MacBook, I think you can pinch the pad to zoom in a little.
Hold on. It's just taking its time. Hold on. Okay. Okay, you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Can you see where it says
Then
and Samson said, go on.
Then Samson said, with the jawbone of a donkey, I have piled them into heaps. With the jawbone of a donkey, I have slain 1,000 men. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps. With the jaw of an ass, I have slain 1,000 men.
And then when Samson left, he went to the cave. Correct? They caught him and they put him down in the temple. And then Delilah cut off his ear, and then his ear grew back, and then he pulled down the temple.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that's real?
I believe it's a metaphor.
For?
I don't believe it's. I always thought that it was a metaphor for like a lesson, because that's how I interpret the Bible. It's just lessons, like that a woman could be a downfall, and a man. That's how I took the story personally. I mean, this is just my subjective opinion. Is that
Okay.
it was just
Samson,
of a woman, the dangers of a woman.
Samson, you know what the name means in Hebrew?
No.
Samson's means a little son.
Mhm.
So Samson killing 1,000 man. What happens when the sun comes up?
Light.
What happens when the sun comes up?
Heat. Light.
The stars disappear. Samson killing 1,000 man. The men are stars. When he rises, they disappear. When we have sunset, you'll find this in Egyptian mythology as well. When we have sunset, the sun is in the underworld. So Samson was in the temple.
And sunset. Correct? Set is who again?
Set is the Egyptian god Set, who is the god that he's talking about here with the jawbone.
Sunset. Is there a correlation between sunset and that god?
We have Set in Egyptian mythology, but in this mythos in the Bible, Samson is often down where he pulled the temples apart, correct?
Yeah.
He pulled the 2 pillars down.
Yeah.
The 2 pillars represents the equinox. When he disappears into the cave, the stars come out. When he comes out, they disappear. So they say 1,000 stars. Samson killed 1,000 stars because Samson is the sun. So when Delilah cut off his locks, Delilah's the moon. Cutting off his locks is cutting off the sun rays.
The moon always represents the feminine, doesn't it?
That's correct. It's the doorway. That's why in Hebrew, the letter is Dalith, means door.
Yeah.
So they're writing a whole code of how the planets move, and people read it literally.
But the truth is still in there, though, isn't it?
That's right, but that's not what they're talking about. You see, people can read this like you even said earlier when you said, I look on it like how a woman can be deceptive.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. You see where your mind's gone.
Yeah.
But that's not what the story's talking about. It's not even talking about a woman being deceptive. Well, what's
But
that?
it's funny. It's funny though, yeah, that
What's
they
that
would
noise?
still. I think there might be some feedback from someone's mic, but it's funny though that they still leave the original. It's like they weave it into a story, but they still leave the meaning there, though, isn't it?
The
Don't
meaning's
they?
not there because you would grow up until 60, you wouldn't find that meaning if I didn't tell you.
But it's still there, though.
Yeah, but how much people are going to dig deeper? You ask
Well,
most people what Samson means, they won't tell you.
and this is why I say the Bible's written for certain people. Like if you're part of the mystery schools and the esoteric teachers, you would know that. So it's
That's
like
right.
it caters to two different people. It caters
That's
to the
right. That's
same.
right.
So it's very
Bruv, you
whoever.
couldn't have said it better, bro. That's what me and Manadis said. He said there's two forms of the way you read the Bible. Do you know
Yeah.
who Mir Manadis is? Mir Manadis is the one who commentated on the Torah. He said there's two forms of it. One, you teach to the plebs. It's the literal one, like this one.
Yeah.
But in the secret teaching, which we're not allowed to say,
Yeah.
this is what I just told you. People will be like, what?
Yeah. But this is what I say, Brother Rich. You know, when you say that the Bible is not, it's like it's a paradox, because the Bible is the truth, but it's not. But at the same time, the way it's written is to confuse, but it's still there. It's like they have to teach you.
So how can it be the truth?
Because the truth is in there, like you just explained. So
yeah,
you
the
know,
truth
so
is
how
in there.
can-
But if
so we
it's the
can't really
truth,
disregard it.
if it's the truth,
Mm.
why don't I just tell you what it is?
Because it's made to deceive.
So it can't be the truth if it's made to deceive.
But if you know, innit?
Yeah, this is my point. But how many people are going to know, to take the time to know?
But like you said, in the churches and the secret schools, they used to put the gargoyles up to deter people. So
That's right.
it's for the chosen, isn't it? It's for the ones that are gifted with knowledge and vision.
It's
Even when
actually
it's
for the ones that are seeking. It's for the ones that are seeking. But what
that's
they've
what I
got
say.
you seeking is
Yeah.
the Anunnaki. Was Adam, did Eve come from his ribs? These things are fallacious. They're asinine. Science don't even teach that.
But then if I was taught the esoteric teachings, I would read the Bible in a whole completely different perspective.
If you was taught the esoteric teachings, you'd be on the FBI hit list.
Yeah.
Do
But
you
that's what I'm saying.
understand, bro?
The knowledge is still there. It's like the film They Live. When you put the glasses on,
That's
the
right.
subliminal.
What they tried to do, they tried to kill him, right?
Yeah, they tried to kill him.
Okay. That's why it's hidden.
So then what you're saying is the Bible is truth then, in a sense.
No,
it is,
I'm not
because
I'm
you
not
find
saying
truth
that.
in the Bible.
No. There's very little in the Bible that's original, bro.
But that story you just said, that's written there, isn't it? But just written in a different way. It's encoded. It's encoded.
Yeah. But then you have loads more things, right? Because most of the things that are situated in the Bible is around God, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which God?
Could be the devil.
This is my whole point. You just
this is where I
you just made a good point right there, bro.
But this is where I find it confusing, because in one breath, you just showed me in scripture that there's some facts there regarding the constellations.
Right.
But then in one breath, you're also telling me that the Bible is bullshit. So
it is bullshit, because these things here were taught openly. It's nothing new what they're writing. Do you understand? But what happens is you're reading it and people are taking their own things from it. Like I could have just said to you, you see, that's why you mustn't trust a woman. And you go, yeah.
Because that's the interpretation I've been taught.
Thank you. So you're left in ignorance.
Yeah. But if I'd come to you about the story from the first time, I would have said, you know what? The Bible was actually, I would have rated the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, look, bro, there's things in the Bible that you can learn from, but very little in there is original. That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like I can put up a book now and I can tell you to go and get this book. And the first thing you'll say to me is, who's the author?
Yeah.
And I'll say, like, I don't know, James Spade. But the authors for the book that you're reading, we don't have them.
But do you believe the people in these mystery schools, they obviously read the Bible completely different from how we read it. They can see through these metaphors and
Yeah, but who are those people?
well, the chosen,
Yeah, who?
the Freemasons and the
No, Jews, bro. This is a Jewish book.
so they read the Bible in a completely different way that we see it.
Of course. The English don't even match with the Hebrew half of the time. That's why I said to you, you're not reading anything. Because once you go back to the original language, you're going to start going, huh? Which is Hebrew. The New Testament's written in Greek and the Old Testament's written in Hebrew.
So that's the oldest language that we used to speak in.
What, Hebrew?
Yeah.
Hebrew's a Johnny come lately language.
Yeah.
Greek's older than Hebrew. Cuneiform, the Ugaritic texts, they're not written in Hebrew. Enough of the ancient texts ain't written in Hebrew.
So Hebrew is like 6,000, 4,000 years old.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Wow.
I wouldn't even go that far, my friend. I'm talking probably like maybe 800, 900 BCE. And the Bible that you're looking at, or that you see most people read, that was written totally in about 270 AD, 270 BCE. So what's new about it? There's nothing new about the Bible. There's nothing in it that's original. A matter of fact, when you start coming to me and said that God made a woman, a man, and then split open his ribs, he had to be doing surgery on him. God had to be physical because the man's physical. These are the things that we're not looking at. For you to be doing a surgery or cutting open my ribs, the man had to be physical. God had to be physical. And he had to be using some kind of tool. So one minute we have God being a doctor. The next minute he's a farmer because he planted 2 trees in the garden. Then when he found Adam and Eve naked, he sewed them clothes. He's multitasking.
And he also made them out of clay.
But you see what I'm saying though, yeah. You see how you from that last thing about Samson, you found the code. Don't you think that's written in? Do you think that's written in the code as well? Don't you think that's symbolic for something else?
But I've been asking them for years.
I don't feel like anything's wasted. I don't feel like all these stories are just words in the Bible. I feel that there's a deeper meaning behind all of these stories when they say clay.
But this is the thing, bro. The people who makes the claim, the people who make the claim, when I ask them to explain it, they can't.
Well, this is why we have to kind of decipher and decode the Bible for what the meaning of these teachings are.
That's correct.
Because I mean, when they say man spliced his rib, and that means something.
Yeah, but here's a simple thing. Here's something simple. God planted 2 trees in the garden, correct?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, 2 questions. Where was the garden? What were the trees?
Yeah, we don't know where that was. We don't know.
That's right at the beginning of the Bible.
The tree of knowledge. And what was the other tree?
He didn't say.
One tree was the tree of knowledge. Is that where they ate the fruit from?
They said, don't eat from this tree, but don't touch this tree. So one tree must have been like a fruit, which is apple.
Yeah.
And the other tree must have been a tree of knowledge. So was it actually a tree that speaks knowledge? Or was it what kind of metaphor was he using?
My
for
interpretation
knowledge?
of that is because he did say when Adam ate from the tree, he saw that they were naked.
Right.
So, I mean, it kind of points to sexual intercourse, like that they told him
that Adam and Eve had sex, right?
Yeah. It kind of seems that
of course,
way.
no, of course.
Yeah.
It's not seem, it is. That's what
It is
happened.
that way. Yeah, yeah. So you see, there again, another metaphor. But I used to read that just literally like it just meant ate from the tree. We also know the serpent. The serpent represents wisdom. You know what I mean? So we know that snakes don't talk. We know that.
Agreed.
So, you know, there is a hidden meaning there, but our job is to decipher what the meaning is because they're not going to tell us.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So when they say the Bible ain't truth, it's not that it's not the truth. It's just that we don't know how to read it.
Well, let me answer your question then, because I notice
Yeah.
you're sticking on this point.
Yeah.
Is God physical?
Well, according to the Bible in Genesis, no,
He's not.
it doesn't seem that way.
So when he's walking in the cool breeze of the day, that's not physical?
Oh, sorry. I meant sorry. I'm sorry. I meant yes. Yes, I meant he is physical. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes,
Once you say that,
yeah,
that's where you lost me.
yeah. Or what? That God is physical.
Yeah. Walking around on earth.
Well, it says that in many parts of the Bible,
That's correct.
It says that God spoke to people directly.
That's correct. That's correct.
Even Satan was walking in Job.
That's
So
correct.
Job, Satan was walking amongst man and having conversations with God directly. So, but then why wouldn't God be able to walk amongst the earth if he's the creator?
I'm not asking you
Yeah.
or nay. No. I'm just asking you, according to the stories that we're reading, is the God that you're talking about, is he physical?
Well, he can definitely take physical form.
Right. And he can take spiritual form, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying, he can be like Scotty then, or Captain Kirk. I can beam up 1 minute and I can come physical in the
Or
next
you could
minute.
say he's interdimensional.
So God is interdimensional.
You could say that. You could
No,
say
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
Yeah, I mean that's how my mind interprets these things. Is that yes, that he's an interdimensional spirit that can take form in this in the physical and transcend the physical as well.
Okay.
You don't even know, but you just call yourself God subconsciously because you're saying in your mind, and your mind is the all. So your mind materialized into the physical and spiritual. So you're literally calling yourself God now.
Yeah. Well, I've always said that because there's one scripture that says the kingdom of heaven is within man.
Yeah. And ye are gods.
Yeah, it's the kingdom of
so
heaven.
that means the seven heavens are gone out through the window once we read that scriptures, right?
No, but then and Amut, is it Mamut? Said
Amut.
that Amut, said that the seven chakras, the seven heavens are within us. So you could say that what you said is true.
Amut is the Egyptian pig come lion that eats the souls of the dead, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said the seven heavens.
Or you can reverse it and make it atom.
Yeah. So the seven chakras, the heavens are within us.
Okay,
Also,
well, let me get back
also
to
God
this.
made us
Let me get back to this thing here.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a brand new iPhone 14.
Yeah.
When I give it to you, you say, Rich, I've already got one, but I'll keep it and give it to my wife. You put it in your closet. You left it there. You forgot it for 14 years. When you open back your closet and you get the box, it's never been open. When you open it, what condition is the iPhone in?
Mint.
You say mint?
Yeah, mint condition.
Okay. You agree with that, Mark?
Just maybe the technical part will probably not be up to date.
It's going to be used.
No, you've never used it. You just put it in your closet.
Put it back in the box and then gave it to me.
No, you've never taken it out of the box. I just gave it to you in the box. You put it up in your closet. 14 years later, you go, oh, I forgot this iPhone. You open it. What condition is the iPhone in?
It should still be in the same condition.
Exactly. Condition. Now you take out the iPhone out of the box and you start using it. Within a year, what condition is it in?
Yeah, it's used. It's going to be running slow.
Okay. That's God. If God is eternal,
Hmm.
he cannot transform himself. He remains the same constantly. Any change from perfect means you become imperfect. So if God is interdimensional, that means he's subjected to change. And if he's subjected to change, then he's just like all of us. He dies.
But then again, the soul doesn't change, does it? Like, you know, if we're talking physical.
The soul and the body is two different things. That's why I asked you if he's physical.
Because we're made in, according to Genesis, we're made in God's image and likeness. That's a clue.
Yeah, that's
as well.
according to Genesis. But who wrote Genesis? Moses?
But that's a clue, though, right? If we're
No,
made in
it's
this,
not a clue, bro. Listen to what I'm
Because-
saying. Who wrote Genesis? Who wrote the book?
was it Abraham?
You tell me. Who wrote it?
Who wrote Genesis? I don't know.
This is the thing. How am I purporting a book when I don't even know who wrote it?
Some random people were like,
Who is the author of Genesis? For real?
According to them, it's Moses.
Mm.
But we've now come to a scholarly conclusion that Moses never existed. So if Moses never existed, then who wrote the 5 books then?
So Moses never existed. Born in Egypt and raised in Egypt. That was a lie.
There's no evidence of it.
So who gave Moses? Because I thought Moses gained all his knowledge from Egypt and then brought that knowledge over to Christianity.
That's a whole different story. But in scholarly circles, Moses is a mythos.
So then the whole thing's a mythos. Then
That's my point.
all of Christianity is a mythos.
That's my point. That's why I said to you, there's nothing in there that's original. Because the authors for the book, we can't find them. Moses didn't exist. Okay, so who wrote the Torah? We don't know.
So why have we got the same stories in Christianity in Egyptology then?
Show it to me. Give me an example.
Because the story of Horus,
Right.
born of Immaculate Conception. It kind
Was
of
he born of Immaculate Conception?
I believe so. Am I wrong?
I'm asking you. You're the one who's making that claim there.
I'm trying to look up a few things now.
got your Google fingers out. I see you're relaxing too much, man. So I'll get you up. You want me to share your screen?
Yeah, got it.
I'm surprised. I know things go around in a cycle, so I'm not surprising to hear a lot of the Anunnaki talk back online again. And certain talks that I see coming up again. I'm like, oh, this thing's just going around in circles. I thought we dealt with this before, but obviously there's a new crop spreading a new thing.
So it says the god Thoth announces to a virgin, Isis. Hang on, wait there. Yeah, just bring this a bit. So the Amansi. Oh,
Sorry,
shit.
before, what's the source you're going from?
The source is the book website, Ancient Egyptian. Can you see it?
Parallels of of Jesus Smith,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it says, oh man, I don't know what the computer's doing. Computer's doing a madness. Right there. Yeah, my computer's doing a madness.
All right. Okay. When you zoom it in, it
Can you
just
read
goes
that? Can you read that? Yeah, can you read that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, so the Amansies, the god Thoth announces to a virgin, Isis, the impending birth of her son, Horus, the Immaculate Conception, the god Neph, Holy Ghost, and the goddess Hathor hold crosses, sign of life, to the head and nostrils of Isis. and mystically impregnate her, the birth of Godchild. The mother Isis sits on a midwife stool, and the newly born infant Horus is held by attendants. The infant Horus receives homage from the gods and three kings, the Magi, and offers him gifts. So, okay, I think they draw comparisons here between Horus and Jesus myth.
Okay, I'm just looking at the people who are actually writing that, because it says Jackson cites Samuel's shape in Egyptian mythology and Egyptian Christianity, London, J.R. Smith, 1879, page 19. Okay, so we have different sources from that time until now. So looking at that, I can actually debunk that easy.
So you're saying that's not accurate, this information?
Because part of it's accurate, but then that's the birth, the nativity scene. See, he's even got John J. Jackson there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I've got that book up on top. So when Isis got pregnant, do you know what the story is about? Amot was kind of saying it earlier when he was mentioning the 14. No. Because Isis, according to some of the texts, his brother killed him, chopped him up into pieces, and then she went round looking for his body to put back his body together. And then she put his body back together, but then she couldn't find his phallus. Okay. Soph went and searched for the phallus. They found the phallus in a fish mouth. And then she sat on the phallus and impregnated herself. That's how the story goes. So because she sat on the phallus, does that make her a virgin?
So whose phallus? So hold on a minute. The phallus, who did the phallus belong to?
Osiris.
Did they attach it again before she sat on it? Or
yeah. She attached it to Osiris' dead body, and then she sat on it, and then she had a child.
Yeah, but we know that just like in Christianity, we know all that don't make sense, from a scientific perspective. My point was, though, it's kind of similar to the story of Christ. We still have it kind of still sounds like an immaculate conception to me.
I'm not disputing that immaculate conceptions didn't exist in the time. I just don't think that they emulated the Christian story. I don't think they emulated the Egyptian story. I think they emulated the Greek story, and the Greeks emulated the Egyptian story.
That makes more sense.
Okay, so the Egyptian story comes first, then the Greeks emulated that, and then
well, I wouldn't say the Egyptian story come first, because we have other texts. Virgin birth was not a thing that was not regular in culture.
That was even in the Hindu.
That's
culture.
Right. That's right. But why do we just always focus on Mary and Jesus? Because it's the
European version.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go. Yeah. So why do we always focus on? Yeah, but like you said, because it's the European. But when you read old scholars from before, they will tell you that the Christians copy the mythology of Danae and Perseus who slayed Medusa. He was born, that was Zeus's son. And she was born, he was born without a father. But Zeus was his father. So what makes...
No, I was going to ask who the Black Madonna is exactly, because she seems to be worshipped in the...
That's correct.
Vatican.
That's
correct. Is that who the Statue of Liberty? Is that who the Statue of Liberty is supposed to be?
Yeah, that links to it somehow.
That's correct.
And Isis.
She is Isis. The Black Madonna is Isis.
Yeah. With the crown coming around there.
Yeah. So that's who Jesus actually is supposed to be.
Well, when you said she had the crown on her head, did you say she had a crown on her head?
Well, the sun, I think it's like a halo, the sun.
And it's like stars around her head, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how much stars was around her head?
I'm guessing 12.
Correct.
12. Wouldn't it be 13?
Why always 12?
12.
But if you
Oh,
read the book of Revelation, it says that there was a woman with 12 stars on her head, correct?
Yeah.
oh, so is that like the
Well,
12
yeah.
cranial nerves?
That you can link that. That's very
Or,
important too.
or could be the 12 zodiac.
That's why I said, was I talking to you yesterday when I was saying Google the number 12? Was it you who I was saying that
Yeah,
to?
yeah. I think it was me. Yeah.
And why it's used? And I said to
Oh,
you that you can't.
I got.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
And even the 12 disciples.
What's funny as well, I got 12 siblings, including me.
See?
Shit.
But what's crazy as well, like my sister had a twin, but she passed away as a fetus, or like it wasn't fully formed, but she was like she was near enough developed, but she just didn't make it through the transitional process.
Yeah, one sister made it through.
So it would have been
Yeah,
13. It would have been
Yeah.
13.
yeah. So that showed me is like the hidden, the
The hidden
13.
demon, yeah.
Yeah, the 13 is the hidden, or it could be yourself.
Yeah. And as well, funny you say that in the calendar as well, they say like there was 13 months, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's the Mayan
now-
calendar.
Yeah. And they hid that 13 month and spread it amongst the 12. Yeah.
Do you know that the tribe of
Yeah,
Israel,
sure.
how much was in people in the tribe of Israel?
'Wouldn't the
12,000.
lost tribe be the 13th, or is it 12?
Because they had a sister, correct?
Wow.
Her name
I
was
don't know that.
Diana or Dina,
Mm.
and she got raped in the Bible.
For real.
And then when the sons of Israel went over to avenge their father, their sister,
Mm.
they took pity on them and they say, all right, if you want to make up for it, I'm just giving you the story how it goes, yeah? If you want to make up for it, you have to circumcise yourself. So obviously to circumcise yourself, they would have been like an Israelite. Then when the soldiers circumcised themselves and they were all sore, they went in there and killed them because they couldn't fight back. What does that story mean?
Yes.
So the sun and the moon, as we were talking about the flat earth, there's 12 months, but the sun or the moon goes through 13 times. It goes around the earth 13 times, even though there's 12 months. So in the mysteries, they say that the moon, she was raped. What's the name for the moon? Dinah.
Okay.
Again, with the flat earth, how do you see an eclipse?
Yeah, that's another thing that that's another. Yeah, I forgot about that one still. Yeah.
So they can use Bible stories to cover up what they want to cover up, but then you have to read it in its totality. Show me the pillows and show me how you get an eclipse, because we know eclipses are real. We have scientists what shows you the distance, the weights, the mass. We have all that kind of technology, but yet still we just refuse to believe it. It's what our minds are willing to accept, because a lot of us ain't willing to search, so we get lost.
What does the firmament represent?
The what?
The firmament, because I've seen Egyptian depictions of a layer of they draw it like a dome. I can get it up if you want me to.
What's that?
Of the firmament, and there's like even the Egyptians kind of had depictions of like a dome,
Like no?
going over the earth.
You mean like no? You want to share your screen?
Okay, yeah. Let me get it up.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Uh,
Let me see if I have it as well.
Is he talking about no?
Is it the one where, or there's different images? There's one where there's like a rainbow in the middle, and there's in a dome basically, and it
yeah. Can you see it?
branches out. Yeah, that one.
I mean, that's one of
Yeah.
them. That's one of them. and you can see the stars in the. So it's like I don't know what this represents really, because
So it's showing there's like, so obviously the person on the floor is the earth, like
yeah,
the earth, and
Jeb.
Jeb, yeah,
okay,
and the one in the middle is holding up. Is a barrier between the stars and the earth, and it's holding it up.
That's a creation story. The person in the middle is Shu. The being above is Nut. So
Yeah.
or Tefnut. So they were having sex. And then Shu came down to part them. Shu is the ear, Geb is the earth, and she represents, as you said, the firmament with the stars. But in this picture too, the sun goes through her mouth at night and reborns through the other end.
okay.
So it doesn't even represent flat earth in that sense.
So that deity with the going over them, what's her name? Sorry,
Nut
Nut.
or not, like nuts, nuts. Some people just say nuts, but we say nut. You coming through? Yeah. So show me the other flat earth, what you was going to show me. And I'm not trying to say that the earth isn't. I'm just saying the science that I see now just doesn't convince me.
Yeah, yeah.
What if it's both flat and globe as well? Is that possible?
What do you mean? Like that picture he's showing now?
Yeah.
You see with that picture? Sorry
Yeah.
to cut you. You see with that picture, you notice how they put the 4 pillows underneath.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they know that it says that in the Bible, correct?
Yeah.
That the earth is held on 4 pillows.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking that. Hold on there, 1 second.
Wouldn't there be an esoteric meaning to that? There could be a deeper meaning to the.
All right. You see, someone said in the Bible, God says He created the oceans and the waters above, right? In Genesis. And then He says, "As above, so below." So.
Yeah. Sorry. What was he saying?
Yeah. So, yeah. They say remember God said in the Genesis that He created the oceans above.
Do you believe that God speaks?
Well, and then we have as above, so below. So
You never answered my question.
does God speak?
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Okay.
Now, is above, so below? Does He mean as above, so below? As in there is a hollow earth, an inner earth, a lower dimension?
You could make that a reality if you want.
Mm.
Because for me to start talking about mythology as historical, that's why I refrain from doing it.
See, my thing is like I want to kind of I want to decode the Bible. Like I want to decode because I feel like because you've shown me because you've shown me quite a lot yourself, brother Richard. Like you've decoded a lot of things in the Bible.
What about the Quran?
That's where I started, bro, and both of those books.
Mm.
Where do you find the most gems, the Quran or the Bible?
I wouldn't really say they're gems, to be quite honest. Once you start getting the understanding of it.
Yeah, it's basically like a spell, and it is like a spell on the mind.
Yeah, you couldn't have said that better, bro.
Yeah, it's a spell.
Let me just pause when you say that. That's basically what that is, bro. It's a spell on the mind. And even though my brother Mark over there, he knows a lot. My brother does that sometimes. He doesn't do that too much now. But to rewash what you've learned when you're young about God, the angels, this and that, it's not an overnight thing because it's your only reference point. But once you start questioning the God, you will see how God is absurd.
Literally.
Absurd.
Sorry,
And then you,
sorry, no, go on. I was going to
because
ask.
what they've done, they've given you a God to look at in the Bible.
Yeah.
But then you won't see yourself as God.
Yeah.
To be external.
But then again, there is certain scripture in the Bible that does suggest that we are God, because when it says the kingdom of heaven is within man.
That's correct. But what does it mean? Don't just say it to me like when the Christians are talking to me. The kingdom of God is within you. Okay, what does that mean? Tell a child that, and say to them that to your child, and say the kingdom of God is within you, and then the child says, "Sorry,
I feel that's kind of simple. I feel that's very simple though, because what you're saying is the kingdom of heaven is within man, so we create our own heaven and hell."
Yeah, but what does heaven mean? What do you mean when you say that?
That could be a higher state of consciousness, or
yeah, but you see, once you start saying you could have, it can be, it's open for interpretation. And when we were, listen, bro, when we were under schooling, under our elders, there was no room for errors. You don't do that in university now. There is no need, there's no room for, well, I think. You can think, but is there a scientific method? Is there a way we can look on it to say, if your thinking is right, that's the only way we can move on? But once you start hypothesizing, then I'm going to question it. Because I'm not sure where the thinking's coming from. Do you understand?
Yeah. I'm getting the impression that I'm not, like, are you Muslim? Was you raised Muslim?
Me?
I'm not.
Yeah.
You was raised Muslim?
Yeah.
Why are you asking that, man? How did you know that?
Because I just got the impression that, like, maybe he's going through he was kind of like me. I was raised a Christian. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of questions, and I feel like when he said, "What about the Quran?" I feel like, can you draw comparison or parables between the esoteric teachings, the mysticism, and the scripture? You know what I mean? So because that's my thing. That's my thing. Is like, I like to go to my Christian brethren and say, look, see the Bible, it means this. This is how you can look at it like that. So trying to show Christians that actually the way you're reading it is wrong. And that, like for example, some of my people will say, look, you can't, like the Bible says, don't look at the constellations. Astrology is evil. Astrology is like, God said don't. But then I could show them the 12, Jesus is born into the age of Aquarius, the house of the water bearer, for example.
No. That won't go with them. That won't wash with them. Once they say to me, don't worship astrology because astrology is evil, bring up Amos 5:8 and bring up Job 38:31. And God said to Job, can thou bring forth the Mazzaroth, Orion, Arcturus, and Pleiades in their season? Exactly. And I say to them, why is God asking Job about astrology?
Yes. But this is why I want to be able to say this to them, because once you have knowledge and once you're able to bring that to them, you know what I mean, you can kind of then you have grounds to reason with them on them things.
You don't even have ground to reason. You know what they're going to say to you, Mark? Once you start getting knowledgeable on it, and remind me, remember this day when I said this to you, all you're going to get is, boy, you know the Bible a bit more than me, but let me get back to you. They never come back.
Cognitive dissonance.
That's correct.
Cognitive dissonance.
They're never going to come back. They say that Jesus is God, correct? Some say Jesus is God.
Some say, I feel like, I haven't heard they say Jesus is God. He was a prophet. God is God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, many people tell you that Jesus is God.
Yeah, I've heard
Christianity, the mainstream narrative is that.
Is Jesus is basically the incarnation of God.
But then when Jesus went to heaven, they said that he was sitting on the right side of him who sits
Yeah.
on the throne, correct?
Yeah.
So
Who
it's
was
very contradicting. That's what I've
Very
always wanted to like
Yeah.
come to a stance with.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's because people who were writing the stuff didn't really know what they were writing about. That's basically it. So let me show you a few things
Mm.
how we do this.
Mm.
Oh well, what's going on? Can you lot see that?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, I know it's big. This is Gamerkin's book. You can look
Mm.
this book online up on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon if you. Where is it gone, man? Oh, hold on. Oh, for crying out loud. Hold on, my computer's just moving funny. Okay, so that's one source. Let me just read this for you. Barusa and Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Barusa and Genesis. Manetho and Exodus propose provocative new theory regarding the date and circumstances of the composition of the Pentateuch, which is the Tanakh. Gamerkin argues that the Hebrew Pentateuch was composed in its entirety about 273 to 272 BCE by Jewish scholars at Alexandria. That later tradition, edited with the Septuagint translation to the Pentateuch into the Greek. So what he's saying is that the Bible that you're reading, the 5 books of Moses, that's 273 AD, bro. That's not even before Plato and them. Alexander the Great came and died. And they wrote all of this together. This book is about £150. So when you're digging into the nuts and the cranny, it costs to learn the information. Now, even down here, what do we have? Go and see who Barusus is and Manetho. Because he was saying that a lot of the Genesis story, because in Baruso's story, we have the flood story. Way before the Bible, we have Manetho's story. And then down here, what does it say? It says the definite overthrown of the chronological network of the documentary hypothesis, a late 3rd century BCE date for major portions of the Hebrew Bible, which show literary dependence on the Pentateuch. So the documentary hypothesis is a thing in scholarship where they're like, this thing was just thrown together by a bunch of people. So that's like all of us are sitting on this panel writing about God. It doesn't mean that no one can question. God is not talking to me directly because God doesn't speak. He's not corporeal, nor he's incorporeal. And when you read the Hermetica, it makes it plain. The only thing that ancients used to see that represents God was the sun. So who are they talking to in these books? Bro, the people who wrote these books are some of the wickedest people on earth. You don't really know who's talking in that book.
Probably channeling entities.
Thank you very much. Lucifer is running the trick on you. He's hiding his hands.
Mm.
Well, to say that he's a deceiver, innit? So
there you go.
But he also has to tell you the truth, though, innit? He has to tell you the truth as well.
Well, that's if you
The
believe.
greatest trick on mankind, what's that quote? He played is that he doesn't exist.
Yeah. The biggest trick, the devil pulled was convincing mankind doesn't exist. Yeah.
Here's another author. She's from England. I've been following her work since like in the 90s. She's a Hebrew scholar at Exeter University. That book there called God Anatomy. I've got it right there myself. I can just take it off myself and show it to you.
I've heard about that book still. Yeah,
and I've done a class years ago. I was wondering if she copied my work because I put the anatomy of Aton. Because what she's showing you there is that the Bible there's nothing much original, and half of the time they were talking about the anatomy of God. What was the anatomy of God? The planets. So how does God speak? No Jew would sit down Any self-respecting Jew who knows his thing will sit down to you and say that God has a physical body.
That's
they
why
won't say it to you.
don't recognize Jesus, do they? The Jews.
Of course they don't. But anyway, there's something I wanted to show you, but you lot can carry on talking. Let me see if I can find it.
What I'm saying is, we can't rely on these guys' scientific research on DNA and all of this. Like, we need to do our own programs and
I mean,
whatnot.
they even told us that the 666 is evil.
That's
but
all.
really and truly, but what it really means, you know what I mean, is
Electrons, neutrons, protons.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah,
Bamboozled humanity.
yeah.
That's why I don't even class myself as a part of humanity, because it puts you in that bubble of being a human. I don't think I'm from Adam and Eve. Or if you say the atom and gene, yeah, but
yeah,
the storyline, nah, because
yeah.
I know that I come from
Come from the
something,
stars. It could
yeah,
come from these.
instead of mud or clay.
Yeah. But I feel like you see the whole creation story. I feel like it's there in Genesis, but it's like this is what I've had so many different interpretations of Genesis, from like Rastology, like to like Taoism, and I feel like that's the answers that are in Genesis, you know, but it's just the interpretation. You know what I mean? There's even a book by Eric von Dijk, you might know it, Richard, called Chariots of the Gods.
Yeah, I know him. He's pseudo, though, right?
Yeah, pseudo, but he kind of says that, like God is the astronaut. You know what I mean? Like say that God, like what the Bible's like, the Elohim are a group of advanced extraterrestrial race beings that came down and interbred with humanity and gave us civilization. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a good book. I might need to pick that up and read it again so I can come back on that. But
okay, let me just read this for you, right? I wasn't looking for this, but this is something I wanted to read.
yeah,
This is. Can you not see that?
yeah. Jesus lies.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's this in John? I think it was in John. It says, "There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars on the earth. Nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. People will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is to come on the world. For the heavenly bodies will be shaken at the time they will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with power and great joy and great glory. When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near." He told them this parable: "Look at the fig tree and all the trees. When they sprout leaves and can see for yourself, know that this is summer, know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happen, you know the kingdom of God is near. Truly, I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away." Was that a failed prophecy?
Definitely. How can wait? What?
The tossing of the sea, people faint from terror, apprehensive. I mean, heavenly bodies will be shaken at the time they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud. Well, apparently that's yet to happen, though. That's the rapture, right?
There's no words in the Bible called rapture.
Okay, or Armageddon.
Is there a word in the Bible called Armageddon?
Yeah. Judgment Day.
Okay, so I'll go with Judgment Day. So this one here, the point, what sticks out here is when you said, "Truly, I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things are happened." How long is a generation in the Bible?
Yeah.
40 years? I'll give you 80.
Yeah.
So the people that Jesus was talking to, he was saying to them, you would all see these things, but Did they?
Mm.
Were the heavens shaken? Did the stars fall to the earth? They didn't.
But what about Sodom and Gomorrah when fire and brimstone rained down? Could that have been like another type of rapture?
That is another spookology.
Mm. Mm. When it rained fire and brimstone.
Yeah, that's what you read in the literature.
And Noah, the great flood, that could have been another type of thing like that.
Yeah, there was. Of course.
Like there's been many type of cataclysms throughout.
Yeah, but what do we know in the 1st century or 33 AD that happened that he just said in this text?
But it happened before him, apparently, didn't it?
No, he's saying that these things are going to happen in this generation. So I'm talking to all of you here now, and I'm saying, trust me, you're going to see spaceship landing, you're going to see the earth shaking, you're going to see these things happen in your generation. That's nearly 2,000 years ago. Did the stars fall to the earth? No. What do you mean about when we see fig leaves, we know that summer is near? I don't live in the Middle East. I'm right here in London. When's the last time you saw a fig tree? So is this a failed prophecy?
It's a tough one, isn't it?
That's why it's called Jesus Lies.
It's either that, which it is, or it's them trying to manifest false prophecies into this realm. That's what I think.
But they did it bad because they done it in Jesus's handwriting.
But we know what happened to Babylon, though, don't we? Like,
go on, let me hear.
Babylon was doing a lot of wickedness, and Babylon crumbled, and it's in Iraq to this day.
When did Babylon crumble? When did it crumble?
I think it was after Jesus.
So you're saying that Jesus predicted that? I beg you, don't say that. I'm just trying to give you that out.
I'm saying, like, I mean, in Sodom and Gomorrah, like a lot of these civilizations, you know, became obsolete. Like, you know, they met their demise. And
what, through the Bible?
Through God's judgment, apparently.
I don't really know about that. Babylon, they can't even really find that. Those places are written in retrospect. I just showed you where I said that the Bible was written in its entirety in Alexandria in 270 BCE, 276, correct?
Yeah.
So don't you have time to write in retrospect?
Yeah.
I can write about stories now that happened in Jamaica. Yeah, I remember I was at this dance and the police shot this guy in his head because I'm writing in retrospect. I'm writing 20 years ago.
So what you just read about Jesus, that's basically the judgment that they're talking about. You say that we're going to be, you know what I mean, the earth is going to...
That's right.
The stars
because it also said that he would come on the clouds, correct?
Apparently we're still waiting on that though, aren't we?
Well, how can we be when he said that this generation will see it?
What is a generation though?
That's why I just said to you, what is a generation in academia? 40 years?
Yeah, but Christians will tell you, nah, like it's still to come.
No, but there is academia though, right? I don't care what Christians say. In academia, they give you a generation as 40 years. You know what? Let me not talk. Just Google for me, Mark, a generation in the Bible, or what academia say about a generation, or how long a generation is.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, shoot.
So basically, my dad, He's memorized from his parents teaching their parents, his parents, um, the names of our ancestors in it. All of their names are in Arabic, so he can name 20 names going back by heart, basically. How many generations would that be?
He can name 20 names going back.
Yeah. Like four.
That will probably be about maybe 3 to 4 generations.
Okay.
Because
That's
right
roughly-
now we consider like I think that's it there, right? Like 30 years or so for a generation.
Okay.
So see that it can be described as the average period generally considered to be about 20 to 30 years, during which children are born and grown up, become adults. So our generation, if it's 20 and 20 years, then you can just do the maths. But in biblical language, in the Middle East, to be fair, to go back 2,000 years ago, a generation, according to academia, was 40 years.
Okay, then put how much a generation in the Bible? In the Bible.
I feel like everything that's happened is it's closer than what people make it. Like, I feel like this is all playing out in the last hundreds of years, not even like it played out in thousands, but I feel like the most recent Abrahamic faiths is like all very recent. But
I feel like
they've
yeah.
like changed the calendar to
Yeah,
fit the narrative.
That's
yeah.
right. They change a lot of things to fit their narrative.
But a lot of Christians will say that we're living in Revelation right now. Like, and it's funny because a lot of the things that they pull up are relevant to these times, like brother turning against brother and
Yeah, of course,
false idols, false prophets.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So that's where the selling point is right now. Like,
well, you know what, Mark?
Yeah.
You see, 2,000 years ago, they were doing the same thing.
And the original were black women. Only a black woman can actually precisely. She's tapped into her feminine, which is her right hemisphere, fully. Like she can channel anything. Like she's all powerful, really, in her natural state.
That's correct.
I feel like the prophecies already told back then, and they just like kind of remixed it from that in a sense.
The oracles, when you read any text,
my missus smiled when you said that.
Yeah, because when you read any text, and I'm going to show you just after this, because I like to show things while I talk. When you read any text, any king, they used to go to the oracle. The oracle was always a female. The oracle was the intermediate between the heavens and the earth, and that's why when you show the picture of Nut and Jeb, it was Nut who was in the sky. Jeb was on the earth,
and she was portrayed as a blue.
Well, that's the cast of the sky. But let's read this and get through this topic here. How do they say long is a generation?
Generally, a generation refers to all people born and living in the same time period, regarded collectively. It is also defined as the average period generally considered to be about 20 to 30 years, during which the children are born. That's in the Christianity website.
So I'll just say to you, I'll be kind, because I've seen in academia where they say 70 to 80 years.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. You can take 120 years if you want.
Yeah.
The fact is that prophecy didn't happen. Because Jesus didn't come back on the clouds, did he? So was it a lie? You see, we kind of refrain from saying it's a lie because it's cognitive dissonance. How we mustn't blaspheme by calling Jesus a liar, even though he told you a lie. This generation will not pass away until these things happen. I can go worse on some of the things he said. He told his followers to drink poison, bro.
What?
The people who follow me, they will be able to drink poison and nothing will harm them.
Was that a metaphor as well, though?
How can that even be a metaphor?
Because everything else is.
But why would you say some silly shit like that? Knowing people are going to read the Bible and take it literally. How is that a metaphor for drinking poison? Let me show you another text. Oh, you got your stuff up there. Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me share my screen.
I'll take my screen off.
Hold on. Show this then. Okay, I think I need to stop sharing your screen first.
Yeah, I've stopped sharing mine.
Oh, okay, mine's just coming up now. Oh, what happened? I think I stopped sharing it. Hold on.
Would you agree that the Trinity of Abrahamic faith, Judaism being mind, Christianity being body, and Islam being soul?
Yeah, I'd agree that. We touched on that as well, because even in Greek mythology, they said like the logos, the thermos, and the euros. Was that right, Brother Rich?
Yeah, we'd have to go back into that
I
again.
feel like, yeah, that could be the Holy Trinity. Yeah.
Okay, this is from Harvard University, Michael D. Coogan. He said the repetition and inconsistencies in the first 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch, as a result of original independent sources or documents having been combined over several centuries. The principal hypothetical source are J, E, D, and P. That's what I call the documentary hypothesis.
Jedi.
Because, and I put Jedi mind tricks, because you don't really know what you're reading to me. Where you don't know where the source is coming from, because in Harvard school they're still talking about it. Here we have another one where Jesus said, but those enemy of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me. That's Jesus who said that. We go to Mark 16. He said, they shall pick up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. How much times have we seen Christians heal the sick?
Serpent, though. Remember, Brother Richard, serpent, what does that mean, though? Serpent is knowledge, innit?
Yeah, but he's not talking in that sense. And this is literal. What I'm trying to say is, when you're in church, we're not talking about the mysteries. You're reading it verbatim.
So they're just deceiving us with the language, innit?
Well, if you're saying to me, if you believe in Jesus, you can heal the sick, correct? Don't you go to church and see them speaking in tongues?
When they say Jesus healed the blind and the sick, for me, I've always interpreted that as like, when he heals the blind, he gives you vision for knowledge. Like the blind is the metaphor for like you can't see. Blind is ignorance.
But most people don't use that metaphor, correct?
No, but this is what my thing in it. Like, I feel like it's all down to interpretation, isn't it? Really. Like,
okay. Once it's down to interpretation, that can't be real. Because it's based on speculation.
But then that's
subjective
like
belief.
But then that's like saying your story earlier on about Samson and the stars.
Yeah.
That's like saying that's not true, but then it is true. But the truth is the truth was in there, but it's just the ignorant won't see it. But that doesn't disprove that it's not that the truth is not in there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so is this true that what I just read here? But for those enemy of mine who did not want me to be king, first and foremost, was Jesus king?
No.
So why is he saying that?
But see, this is the thing. We have to interpret what the meaning is behind that.
Give me the meaning.
For those enemy of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring here and kill them in front of me. Yeah, that's quite Yeah, I mean, I can't. That doesn't. There's not much to work on with that one. Yeah,
Okay.
kind of bluntly, yeah. But I mean, the second one, the second piece of Mark 16. I mean, that could be symbolic.
He said, "They shall take up serpents, and if they drink," I'll just cut this short. But it goes on to say, they would speak in tongues, and we go to churches and see them speaking in tongues. Correct?
Yeah,
I've got article where somebody. I've got the article right here where the guy picked up a snake after reading this verse.
yeah,
The passage here, what this verse says, because I should have gone here. Yeah,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
an article. The passage is as much as misused passage as a difficult one, and its misuse can often be deadly.
Yeah,
That's why I put these things here. There have been number of fringe Christians who have died because of its misuse and abuse, often found in American South. They have managed to blow this text way out of proportion and make it a major mark of the Christian life. The passage is this, and these signs will accompany those who believe in my name. They will drive out demons. They will speak in new tongues. They will pick up snakes with their hands. And when they drink deadly poison, it will not harm them at all. It even goes to say they will place their hands on the sick and they will get well. Have we seen Christians do these things? They've done everything on this list apart from drinking the poison. You ask any Christians about this verse, there's all they can't answer it.
Again, I think the poison is symbolic of like bad knowledge.
Bruv, even if you're Jesus Christ, for crying out loud, why would you even use an analogy like that?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
Am I supposed to read this to my daughter and say, and then she goes, can I drink poison, Daddy, because I love Jesus? And I go, yeah. Did I come round your house and your daughter says she's loved Jesus and I give her poison to drink and she's lying out there and you're going to come in the door and go, yeah, well, she should have made her alive and you're going to be cool with me? That's when common sense kicks in.
Yeah.
This is asinine. So much asinine that when Porphyry said it, he said, what? What did Porphyry say? He said, well then, the proper thing to do would be to use this process as a test for those aspiring to be priests, bishop, or church officers. A deadly drug should be put in front of them. Only those who survive drinking should be elevated to the ranks of the church. Because he saw that as asinine.
All right, but you see that, Rich, yeah? You see, okay, if we look at the deadly poison, yeah, and only those that survive it, you could relate that to bad knowledge, though, no?
No, this is Porphyry, though. This is not the Bible.
Oh, it's not the Bible, okay.
No, this is Porphyry. He was writing in about the 3rd century AD. And he was a Christian. He was a critic.
Yeah.
And when he read this verse, this was his answer. That means any Christian sits down in front of me proclaiming to love Jesus, I would go to this verse and I would tell you, if you do, drink this poison. If you are alive after you've done it, then I will follow you in church. There's no excuse in this verse. Do you know how much pastors I've asked about this verse?
What did they say?
I can give you the answers they've given me. One pastor actually told me he would drink the poison. He didn't have no retort. He said to me, I would drink it, but I'm not going to do it to prove anything to you.
Yeah, because that would be like a question.
Because you would die on the spot.
Yeah. But that would be questioning God's power.
Do you understand? You would die on the spot. You claim to love Jesus, drink the poison.
Brother Rich, I want to ask you, do you know the story of Moses' snake eating the other snake?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was
the Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh, he put his snake down and his snake ate
the Pharaoh snake.
Now I've had the Abona from the Church of Haile Selassie interpret that, and it sounded like it made kind of sense. And he said that basically, like, as we know, the snake represents knowledge. So Moses' snake eating his snake just meant that his knowledge was it was like a reasoning. Basically, it's like us sitting here and your knowledge. I'm telling you something, and your snake ate my snake because your snake had more wisdom.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And
But-
if we and we know the serpent represents that, because hence why the saints were sent to kill the snakes in Ireland as well. You know what I mean? And build churches.
But you're not talking about literal snakes, though, right?
No. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is, snake represents. This is what I'm saying, like how the Bible is written in symbology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all symbology.
Yeah, of course. I'm not denying that.
So we can't, even though like it's written literal, so the masses won't be able to interpret. But for those that do know, like yourself, you will see it differently if you can read between the lines.
Yeah, I mean, but you have to go deeper to understand what they were saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And yeah, but most people, when they go deeper, I mean, most people don't even go deep, to be quite
Most people
honest.
won't go deeper, no, because then they start questioning the Bible and they don't want
Yeah.
to know.
And then what's happening? Then people start translate the Bible in its literal term.
Nah, but you can't do that though.
Yeah, but that's what they do. You know, just sometimes when I ask you something and you go, no, that's just my interpretation. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone does that.
Because maybe
Everyone does that.
because they just need to be shown a different outlook, way of looking at it. You see,
Yeah, but you can't show them.
Yeah, but remember, I used to be like that though, with Brother Richard. I used to look at the Bible like that. It's only when I started going deeper like this, because I allowed myself, then I can start seeing between the lines. The way you interpreted Samson and Delilah story 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to digest that.
That's correct. I agree.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't have, I'd be like, what are you talking about? But now, that's how I know my own growth. Now I'm able to sit there and say, you know what? Yeah, I see it. And this is what I try and want to show other Christians as well. This is what I want to try and show other people. But that's the only way we can really speak to Christians is if we show them this, if we show them these type of things. You know what I mean? And
bro, they're in, as my man Amuk just said, they're in cognitive dissonance.
Dissonance, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are.
For you to, yeah,
But some are open to it though. That's the thing. Like myself. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, very few, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, Amok, you were saying something?
Yeah, I feel like the Bible is very like the program. It runs deep for people in it, but I feel like Islam is deeper. Like it grabs you by the throat. Like the fear mongering.
Islam's more dangerous than Christianity.
Yeah.
Islam actually profess that they have the last religion, the last prophet.
Yeah.
You know what that means? That means no other prophet that comes after him can be a prophet, because Muhammad was the last prophet.
That's a bold statement.
Do you understand? And when you read Islam, I mean, it's full of scientific errors. It's just, I mean, Islam is just a copy of Christianity, basically. They have the same prophets in there. They have, the Egyptologists, some of them are Muslims. And you remember I was saying to you the other day, Mark, when I said you come out and you're saying that it's been debunked that the Jews didn't build a pyramid.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So now that we find out that the Jews didn't build a pyramid according to Egyptologists, how did Allah make that mistake? A matter of fact, how did Jehovah make that mistake? Remember, they were there for 430 years in Egypt, being enslaved. I guess the author at the time must have thought, yeah, we have to be here for a lot of years, right? Because that would show that the pyramids took hundreds of years to build and we built it. But this is going against your ancestors.
Mhm.
They talk against them
Mhm.
about them building the pyramids. There weren't no Jews building no pyramids.
Mhm.
Egyptologists have told you that long time ago. That's
Mhm.
been debunked. So the next
Mhm.
question is, how did it reach in the Bible and how did it reach in the Quran?
Mhm. Mhm.
It even goes as deep as saying, I watched the video that Imam was speaking on the what's it called, the Rosetta Stone, and it says he made it sound all big and this and all scientific evidence that an Arab man named Hammam was the commander to build the pyramids.
Bruh. Bruh.
I got a headache when I heard that.
Let me show you something about pseudoism. This is a picture I took, yeah, when not well,
Mhm.
copy of, and then the guy they took this picture of the hieroglyphs, and they say, "What does this look like to you?"
Boy.
You see where I've got here where it says UFO with a jet fire.
I was
You see
gonna
it?
say that, before I saw the UFO thing, I was gonna say that.
I've seen something similar to that in the sky, I swear. Like just the orange thing, the circles, like four of them,
You see, we should have
one
had him
after
on
the
here, Richard, when we was talking UFOs, because I was
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah,
because I've seen something. I've seen,
And
I've
this
seen,
is
I've seen things
broad
as well.
daylight.
Mm, mm,
I literally saw it come out of the sky. Like one appeared out, and then another one came on out, like appeared from thin air, and then on top of it, and then another one on top of it, then
boy,
another one.
I'm gonna leave you and Mark to talk because
No,
you lot
no,
are the
you see,
ones
I
who have
believe you
seen
though. That's the thing. I
UFO.
believe you because I've
He
seen
saw
things
one.
that I've seen things as well. I've sat there and seen like stars. Like I thought it was a star, but then they started moving, and it was like a bright light, and then
Yeah, I
they
saw
started,
that like the other day as well.
yeah, and like they started moving in kind of like synchronicity, like, and then they kind of came down, and there was three of us that saw it. I can get those three people that are with me. I want to get them on here to verify that as well. Like, you know
But
what I
do you
mean?
see how I showed you a primary source of a UFO?
Yeah. So, and yeah, and I can't explain it to this day, but I know what I saw.
Do you agree with
The
that,
one
Alan?
I saw in broad daylight though was that color. It was orange. It looked like almost like a sun, but it
Do
was
you agree with
orange.
what I just
Was
showed
it
you?
bright? Was it bright?
Yes, it was bright and it was so visible. Like no, I mean, I had my friend to witness it,
Yeah.
but like recently, like this is like 2-3 years ago now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I asked him recently, he has no recall of that event. And I spoke to him. I was like, we were speaking about it for so long, and then like,
Mad, innit? You see,
yeah, he just doesn't
the
even
three people
remember it.
that saw what we saw. One of the guys was like, you know what, bro? We was high in it. I don't know. We was high. We was drinking. The other person was like, yeah, no, we saw it. We saw it. You know what I mean? But it's like it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life in it, and I can't really like, I know what I saw in it. So
I used to see green orbs when I was a kid, like flying over my house.
mm, mm.
Something green. I just used to look at it. What the hell is that? Like just flying over my
Do you
house.
try to film it? Do you try to film it? It's
I
hard
was
to
a
get it
kid,
on film
bro.
though, isn't it?
I was a little kid. Like I was literally like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
mobiles weren't probably even out.
yeah, yeah.
Now you know what? I tried to film some orbs once on my phone, and it picked it up. I've still got the footage. You know what I mean? I've
I
still
got
got
the
the footage.
footage of the one from the other day. Like
Yeah,
you see it in the video. I got it. Like you see a glimpse of it coming in and
yeah,
out,
yeah.
moving around.
But when I
Yeah,
show people my orbs, they're like, "Nah, that's the camera lens."
yeah.
Like, camera lens
It
do
just
that.
makes you like the up in
Yeah.
it.
So it's like I can't really share it with just anybody because people will start making me feel kind of try to ridicule me and like
Yeah.
make me feel away about it. So it's only certain people I'll share that with. But I've got the footage and it's there in it. I know what I saw. So I know for a fact there's parts of this reality that we don't fully understand in it. You know what I mean? So
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 can you
I've
see
heard,
you see this UFO though, right?
yeah.
mm, mhm.
So is that a primary source?
Well, yeah, because it was
It's on the
written.
walls of Egypt there, right?
It's on the walls of Egypt, isn't it?
So basically, the guy who took the picture, the person tweeted out, and the person said, "UFO with a jet." This is what happens when you read pseudo information, because when you go to the Egyptian language, that word is tet. Can you see it?
What that word of what you're showing?
This what I just showed you here.
Yeah.
Can you see it? This is T in metaneda.
Yeah.
This is a T.
Yeah.
These three things underneath makes it plural. So the word is wati. It's nothing to do with UFOs. That's the Egyptian alphabet right here. Let me show you. Can you see the T? And when you write the three circles underneath, it becomes plural. Actually, the T represents the woman. It's a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
But when we use our minds, we would turn this into extraterrestrials.
Brother Richard, can I share my screen, please?
Yeah. Just to finish off, though, yeah?
Yeah.
I could have come on here and just carried it on and say, yeah, it was a spacecraft.
Yeah.
And all of you would have just agreed with me because you all did. But once you go into the language, you go, oh, it's not a spacecraft. It's the word T.
Yeah.
And the words, the three dots underneath make it plural. So the word here, T, can you see the loaf of bread?
Yeah, loaf.
So the word, and then can you see the bird that was above this bird? Let me see if it was the chick.
It looked like three orange balls, though.
I can't see the bird up here. So if it wasn't the chick, then it was the
underneath.
No, the chick that's above it, because that's how the Medanet is written. So if it wasn't this, say that again.
You said the things underneath it being plural. Where'd you get that from?
When you look at this word here again, this bird here is the bird, the W sound. This is the T sound, and these three things makes the word plural. So instead of you say what, you say wuti.
Okay, so many,
many. That's how you read the language.
Okay.
How do we know it's a language? Because we can find the T right here. Nothing to do with our extraterrestrials. But people want to believe so bad in external things when we've just discussed here several times that the kingdom of God is within you.
Yeah.
Make your mind up.
So what we're seeing without is just something we're seeing within.
Say that again.
So what we're seeing outside of us is we're only seeing it inside because we only see how much light spectrum, like 0.0.
I can't really say what you and Mark said because that's basically your subjective. That's subjected to you. You saw it. You must know what you saw. But I'm just saying, when people are looking on these things and are saying, oh, it's a spacecraft, or yeah, it is a spacecraft. And I'm saying,
bear in mind it faded out all together in synchronicity. They all faded out at the same time, but they came in at different times.
Like I said, yeah, okay.
I was gonna say, I've got a depiction here of an Egyptian thing with a UFO. I just want to explain that. I want you to explain that.
Okay, go
on. Yeah, I've shared my screen.
Oh no,
yeah, so like, yeah, can you explain that?
Okay. Ancient Egyptian art, fresco, first contacts, pyramids, aliens, and Egyptian. Where did you get the artifacts from?
That could be Photoshop.
Say that again.
It could be a Photoshop for real.
From when they're literally painting over the normal artifacts and coloring it in white.
I could tell you for a fact that I've never seen that artifacts.
Okay, what about this?
That one is real.
What about this?
Yeah, what was it? What about it?
That's a helicopter.
I mean, it looks like these look like flying machines.
They look like flying machines, but they're not. They're languages.
What that's a coincidence because these look.
It's not a coincidence. They want to. That's what the mind wants to do. The mind wants to say it's something extraterrestrial. But you can't look at the language, the English language, and then said to me, boy, the Z looks like a car, if you don't know the language. Because this has been debunked. That's why I said to you, go on then, because I know where you was already going. They a sticker dropped off and they started going, look, it's extraterrestrial. But all of those words there, I can show you in the language. I can debunk that right here now. Yeah? Let me do that. You see that long thing that you just said looked like a helicopter? Can you see it? That long bit? Okay, right beside the bird, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a few things that look like crafts there.
We'll go through them, bro. No worries. You go through the Egyptian language. It's not on this one. But that symbol that you're seeing, if I'm not mistaken, it represents an A sound. This symbol here? This symbol here is the same as this symbol. The sage made a mistake and crossed it. Can you see the symbol here? Right here with the dots underneath?
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh no, I was actually talking about the symbols that you're showing.
Okay, so which one? The one next to the bird on the left, to the left of the bird, yeah.
Okay, let me see if I've got one in here because I wanted to show you. Hold on a minute. I'm just trying to find the Egyptian thing. Where's that one? Okay, it's an A sound. Okay, you see that long one there you've got there? I'm going to let you point it because my computer's acting up. You see with that one, the top left hand corner that you said looked like a helicopter? Yeah. Yeah. That one gives you an A sound. Because you remember when I was just saying to you about the loaf of bread?
Yeah.
Can you see the loaf of like a bird sitting on a loaf of bread? Again? Yeah. Yeah. That here, the next one beside it, people go, oh, that's a submarine. And I'm like, bro, just look at the Medinetta and you'll see them. It's not extraterrestrial spacecrafts. They're actually in the language. Just look at do you know how much symbols is in the Egyptian language? There's over 700 of them.
It just seems quite coincidental that these type of things weren't created in. It kind of does resemble.
If they were creating helicopters and craft, correct?
Yeah.
That means, so what did they do? Did they just disappear all of a sudden? Like, we know that Egypt was conquered a few times.
But then we got the Vimanus in Hinduism that I've got. The Vimanus have got, they spoke of crafts that fly.
Yeah, bro, that's for the literal people, bro. If you want to believe in those things, knock yourself out.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just find it fascinating that they would have these depictions. You know what I mean?
That who? The Egyptians?
Yeah, the Egyptians.
They made them out because it's like, look, this looks like a hovercraft. This looks like but there's nothing. You go into the Egyptian language and I can show you the letters. A matter of fact, let me show my screen.
The Zulu also speak of crafts as well.
I just feel like they're still here, but it's just the vibratory signature is on a higher frequency, to whereas we can't really see them.
I got some Zulu. Hang on, let me find something else.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is part of the Egyptian alphabet. When you use the A sound, yeah, the A sound is drawn like the hand that you had first. There's two ways of writing it. This is the bird that you saw sitting on the T.
The A.
And the strokes. Yeah.
The A. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the A one, but there was another one that was looking that way. So it could have been the M.
M. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the symbol you see Drake and all of them wear. the owl, yeah?
Mhm.
And then you see the T there, and the strokes was how the
Yeah.
Egyptian counted.
Mhm.
So when people broke down that text,
Yeah.
that's got nothing to do with extraterrestrial. They just realized it was the Egyptian language. The sage made a mistake and he drew a line through the ah.
Yeah.
Now, if you're saying, boy, it looks like a helicopter, how can we have a helicopter? That's where pseudomism comes from.
Yeah.
Because are you saying that the Egyptians had helicopters in those days, but yet still people used to conquer them?
Mm, mm,
When
mm.
you were so advanced with your flying machines? Why did people conquer you when you had fly? You don't see people conquering America.
Yeah.
The
So they
enemy
got all
comes
of this
from
technology, but so why wasn't they using them? You had submarines.
What?
Wouldn't you say the enemy came from within there? I don't think the enemy was
Okay.
always.
All right.
Say that again?
I've just shared my screen. There's a depiction of an atomic bomb as well.
Oh, hold on.
An atomic
Okay.
bomb. Can you see it?
I'm putting
Yeah,
it
I've
back,
seen that one.
putting you back on the screen.
And I think that might be the tree there. I think that looks like a tree.
So what is that?
To
The
me,
mushroom cloud.
It looks like an atomic. Oh yeah, sorry, it could be a mushroom cloud for real. I
So
thought it
they
was a
looked
tree.
on that picture, put a mushroom cloud underneath it, and they say it's a mushroom cloud. Is that what they're telling me?
Who is that deity dropping the atomic bomb?
That's what I'd like to know. And I would like to know what artifacts you're looking on.
I could read that esoterically though.
Yeah, but what is the source that you're looking at?
The source is
The Big Bang.
the source is
The facsimile you got at the top there of some man like he's got a bomb
made
there.
from the hard stones. These seals were used as administrative tools, signature as well as Babylonian cylinder seal from 600 BC.
Okay.
E shows a nuclear bomb and explosion made during the Nebuchadnezzar II, who was a Chaldean king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Cylinder seals were around before 3500 BCE in the Near East at the contemporary site of Susa in southwestern Iraq and Uruk in southern Mesopotamia. Made from hard stones, these seals were used as an administrative tool, a form of signature as well as jewelry, and as magical amulets. Later versions would employ notations from Mesopotamia.
Oh, so it's not an atom bomb then?
That's what I think it is.
It looks like that though.
It can look like it, but it's not.
But there's like stars around it, so
You know what, bruv? Sometimes we have to stop looking on images and read history.
Yeah.
Because if you have that advanced technology, how comes you got conquered? That's what I would like to know. Why don't we go and find these artifacts like I asked you the other day when they're talking about the Tower of Babel? Like, where is it?
Yeah.
Where is the Tower of Babel? Where is the walls of Jericho that the children of Israel walked around 7 times?
Apparently, the Tower of Babel was in Iraq.
So where's the site? Have we found the site?
Apparently, it's still there, but it's in ruins and no plants grow there, no crops grow there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Bruv, we're in a rabbit hole. It goes 9 levels deep, bro. It's like, seriously. Nothing can be verified.
But then why wouldn't they have had advanced technology back then? If we have the same elements as we do now, the same minerals, the same access to the same type of materials, why wouldn't there have been the same technological
and so we go through cycles as well. So we go through the Stone Age, and every time we get back down into the,
we destroy ourselves.
Yeah. And then we rise.
I think it's more kind of ignorant for us to think that we never had these things before.
Let me answer your question, both of you. If the planet was suddenly flooded, which we know is kind of like an impossibility, but let's just say half of Europe got flooded, half of Africa got flooded, like a big world catastrophe,
Mm.
And then after about 100 years, humans started to get back together. Do
Mm.
you think using archaeologic, I'm getting late. Do you think we can find archaeological evidence about
Why not?
helicopters, planes, and so forth?
Why not?
So how come we can't find them in the Middle East?
Well, they could have been suppressed.
You see, now we started with the could have.
Mm.
We can't find them because they didn't have them. People didn't even have food, much less there were famine, much less submarines and helicopters.
But but then we do have historical, say the Battle of Adwa. Like that was a technological battle. Like that was a historic. There's a historical account of that.
And what happened there?
And well, they said the Ark of the Covenant was used, whatever that is. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? The Battle of Adwa, you know, there was like atomic bombs, there was type of laser weapons, and that, you know what I mean?
Amot, you said you were brought up as a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the story about the Battle of Badwa? Is it Badwa they call it?
I've heard it, yeah.
Where the Prophet Muhammad had 300 men and they were facing like 12,000, an army of 12,000.
Yeah, and then the elephants with the stones, the birds.
And the angels came down and aided him.
Yeah.
You heard that story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So am I supposed to believe that too? That when I say to people, what do an angel look like? Do they have wings on their back? Do they just appear like Scotty from Star Trek out of nowhere? Because if you see Scotty and Skirk and all of them beam down, you would kneel down and bow down to them. When Scotty's going to say, "Oh, get up, we're not gods, we just transfer one molecule to another," and you think they appear. Like these stories are poetic fantasy, bro. That's not what history teaches us. We only find those stories in the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah. Middle East stories of miracles, poetic fantasies. And because they see the pyramid built, they say it must be extraterrestrials. Africans built the pyramids. They actually wrote that in their freaking language.
So why did they try so hard to cover up the truth? And
because why would I tell you that your ancestors did great things?
But then that's exactly what we're saying, though. Like you're saying that, okay, where are the depictions of the helicopters and the technology? Yeah,
archaeology,
yeah. But like you just said, why would they leave artifacts of helicopters and advanced technology for us to know that we were an advanced race?
It don't matter whether they did or not, because we still have helicopters now, right?
And what if they used the knowledge?
So did they find the secrets?
They could have got that technology from ancients.
Okay, so they could have found the secrets, correct?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. So now you still haven't told me, when we're looking at the writings of the ancients, why were they conquered if they have these advanced technology? Why do we have the silver, bronze, and silver age, or the golden era? Do you know what they?
Because I feel like
all that was lies, to be honest. Like,
I think the enemy was within. It was us that we had agreeable ones and disagreeable ones within our own nation, and they just turned against each other. Like
you know, when I'm listening to you and Mark, I can see myself 15 years ago. When I'm listening to you and Mark, I can see myself like 15, 20 years ago. Because those are the things I used to say. Why don't they do this? And yeah, but we could have. But everything you're talking about is could have, would have, should have.
Stick to the facts.
There's no artifacts. There's no facsimiles being presented. Notice when Mark shows me that thing there with the Egyptian. Look at this. I went, what artifacts is it? Is it in the British Museum? Because if I go and see that in the British Museum and I take a picture, look at the facsimile, I'm going to go, hold on a minute. There was UFOs in ancient Egypt.
But then what if they hid that from us, though?
But why would you get hold of it on Google?
Because we live in the age of information now.
And the Egyptians wrote in stones, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So you'd have seen it on stones.
But there is depictions of advanced craft and
There
atomic
is no pictures there of advanced craft, bro. And I can bet you £1,000 on that.
You don't think that what I just showed you was
No.
You don't think that
No.
was an atomic
I've
weapon
watched
that actually-
people debunk that. People who know the language.
So that
nearly
bomb
10 years
dropping,
ago.
what was that bomb then that they're dropping, that atomic bomb?
That's why I said to you, what's the facsimile?
Hmm.
Well, you see, this is the thing, bro. When you go to a British Museum, you don't see that.
Hmm.
You only see that on Google, where people are using Photoshop and all sorts of things to make their point.
Hmm.
But you look at the facsimile where it comes from, that's just made in a lab. There's no such picture on the Egyptian wall. And even if the Babylonians were using cylinder, were they using it for dropping bombs? Bro, they were. We have the artifacts with
they
them.
speak of fire and brimstone.
Who
they
does?
speak of fire and brimstone in the Bible.
Who? There you go. There you go.
In the Bible, yeah.
In the Bible. So is fire and brimstone? What is fire and brimstone, bro? What is that when they speak about it in the Bible?
Well, they say it rained down and wiped out the whole civilizations, and so it sounds like it could be weaponry.
You know volcanoes?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a volcano erupt?
Yeah, I watched Pompeii the other day. Yeah.
Have you ever seen one, Amut?
Yeah.
Do you know? No, I haven't. I've seen them on TV or so.
I've seen the film Pompeii.
But when people in ancient days used to see that, do you know what they used to say? The gods are angry with us. And the god was controlling the volcano. That's what happens when you don't understand science. So if you thought that every time these things happen, the gods were angry with you, how did you have the mind to build spacecraft?
I'll argue and say that they created all sorts of sciences, so how they really come to the conclusion that the gods are angry. I feel like some of them may be a percentage, but to say all of them, that's impossible because we created everything, like maths, algebra, alchemy, magic. Well, didn't create magic, but we got given magic.
And if you say that, how could they? But then, how could they have knowledge of the constellations back in Egyptian times? So because they know things that even our greatest astronomers today can't even know. Like our knowledge of the constellations of Orion and the Draco system, and how the pyramids are aligned. The pyramids themselves are aligned with the constellation, the geometry. So I mean,
which constellation is it aligned with?
Orion.
Is it aligned with Orion? Yeah,
I believe so. The pyramids of Giza.
Okay. So here's the question to you then. When you came on the flat Earth theory, you said that the Earth doesn't move. Am I correct? And you said that the stars and the sun spins around, but the Earth stays still.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So when the Earth is spinning and the stars are spinning, is it still lined up with the pyramids?
Apparently so, yeah.
How does that make sense?
Well, I mean, regardless if the Earth is spinning around the constellations or the constellations are spinning, the ancients still had knowledge of the cosmos that doesn't correspond with their technology at the time.
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying, how did they build a constellation, the pyramids, over a period of hundreds of years? as they say. How did
must
they
have had
line that up to the constellation if the constellation is spinning?
I don't know. I mean, that's something I don't know the answer to. But what I do know is that they had knowledge.
Of course. Great
That's-
knowledge, but not the knowledge that we're given.
But
You see
apparently they didn't have telescopes. They didn't have the Hubble telescope, and they didn't have vehicles that could travel to that could go to outer space. But yet they knew. So how can you tell me that they didn't have technology?
Yeah,
then?
but what did they know?
Astral projection. Out of body experience.
That's training, though, right?
Yeah.
You have to be trained as a priest for that, correct?
Yeah, so not the average
Yeah,
person had access.
Okay. So what
then-
did they know?
So is that how they got their knowledge then through that? Then is that what you're saying?
No, I'm asking you because you said they must know. So I'm asking you, how did they know?
How did they know? Well, this is what my theory is that they did have access to certain technology then
That's right.
that was suppressed. That's what I believe, because there's no other explanation.
Yeah, but there is other explanation, because if you said that the technology was suppressed, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What technology did they have?
Well, they must have had technology to know the constellation. They must have either they had interstellar travel, or they were visited by extraterrestrial, or knowledge of God,
Connecting
or
with their oversoul. And
But if I asked you to
believe
produce
that,
any document, you couldn't produce one, correct?
no, but even regardless of documents, they still had the knowledge though. That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
Yeah, but the
even though-
knowledge that they have is not the knowledge that you're talking about. That's why I'm asking you.
you can only compare it to what's possible today, though.
You
But-
see,
but
this is the point. When you're making these state claims, yeah,
Mm.
your claims have to be based on something. So if
But
you're
all-
saying the Egyptians had advanced knowledge, like I hear Joe Rogan and them saying, but
Yeah.
they're just speculating.
Yeah, but they did though, because they are.
Yeah, but if they did,
art-
then show me the evidence.
They only did because they tapped into the Akashic or the knowledge
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear all that.
No,
I
but the
want to
evidence-
know.
the evidence is in the archive.
I want to see the evidence. I don't want to hear an Akashic record. I don't want to
Alright.
hear that, because
Okay,
it's like hold on. It's like what Captain Kirk said.
Mm.
What would God need with a spaceship? I've always asked myself that, because a couple of weeks ago we've done a show about the soul, correct?
Mhm.
Why would we need an external craft if the soul can travel faster
So
than
how
the
do
speed
you
of light?
explain that they had this knowledge? How did they know that the Sphinx was linked to Mars and all these type of constellations? How would they
Who knows that? Who knows that?
So are you
Mark?
saying that the pyramids are not geometric? The geometry of the pyramids is not aligned with the cosmos.
Which align with what cosmos? The cosmos is big.
Or there's
Let me go to Google.
diameter and there's measurements. I think he's trying to say measures to the speed of light.
You see what you're asking me, dude? I know where this is coming from. That's why I'm talking to you like that. The person who wrote that book is called Robert Boval.
Or was
This
he
is
capping
long
as well?
time thing, but it's not scientifically proven. This is the thing I'm talking about. So sometimes when you hear Joe Rogan and them, he always kind of premise it by saying, I don't know if this is true. He has to say that because it's speculation.
So so then.
Everything is speculation.
Oh, sorry,
Well,
it's linked to
what
the
if
stars.
they had?
Sorry, I just googled it and it's geometry aligned with the star of Orion.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You said Orion. You did say Orion.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Now, that book came from Robert Boval. But using the flat earth theory is what I was saying to you is, how does it work if it's spinning? How would you align it to the very square if it's spinning?
Because the cosmos is attached to the celestial, regardless of whether the earth is spinning around it or the constellations is spinning around us, it's still the cosmos is still kind of attached to our sky. Does that make sense?
Mm.
But the fact is that they have knowledge of the cosmos, though. That is a fact. Though.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah. So I mean,
I can show you that on my slides.
so we have to then ask questions as to how. You know what I mean?
That's correct. You tell me how you think they did it.
Mm.
I can show you how they did it. But
My
you
theory-
tell me how they did it.
My theory is that either they were so spiritually advanced, like what Amit says, astral projection and that type of stuff, or they had interstellar knowledge given to them by off-world entities. I don't know, but then that then
They had no, it's simple actually to put it this way. They say that we only have a small percentage of our brain unlocked. They just had a larger brain and a larger brain capacity unlocked, or DNA connected. So they were just more as because we're in a state of amnesia now, so we don't have everything that we knew before. It's all fragmented into pieces. So our consciousness itself is kind of divided in it. So I feel like they were just in a state of oneness, or wholeness. To get
Remember,
access to that
the
higher
reason
knowledge.
why we have so much bright lights in the sky. I don't know if you've seen the adverts where these guys were on the street and they were calling over people, and then they just switch off the lights, and then everybody's go, "Wow," because they start seeing the stars.
Yeah.
That's the trick. The trick
That's
is
the trick, yeah.
for you not to see the clock.
We don't look up.
You don't look up. You see bright lights. Lights obscure your view. But you go near to certain places and you start looking up in the stars.
Yeah.
You start telling the stories.
We start seeing patterns, and
there you go.
you know what I mean. But they don't want us to look up.
That's right. But the ancients had the view because they didn't have HDV 24K, where they used to run home and go and watch Star Trek and so forth. Their night show was the sky. That's why you start getting stories like the 12 Titans, the 12 Olympians, Prometheus, Medusa. All of those stories came from the stars. They didn't have to have two telescopes to know it, because we're built different.
So basically, what you're saying is that knowledge of back then is still there in our faces today.
It's within us. And it hasn't stopped. It's only because you live in city, you don't look up. But you go to the Caribbean, just the Caribbean alone, and you on a good night, and you see those stars come, bro, you can't count them.
Well, I can still spot Orion's belt even now when I look at the
right.
sky.
That's right.
I still know where Venus is.
That's right. But I can tell when Orion belt is outside my house because I see it right outside my window.
You can see it.
So anytime it comes up to like Christmas, like October, November, you look outside, Orion's outside my window.
Okay. Yeah.
So therefore, if I'm building a pyramid right outside my window, I would have to keep waiting till Orion comes round to get But then Orion moves by degrees. That's what they call the quadrant. This thing goes deeper. This is what they mixed up in what we call Jewish Kabbalah. So while you're out there looking for those external things, they're talking about the Merkaba.
That's the original spaceship.
Do you understand? The Merkaba is you. So if people really believe that they have a soul, the soul can move faster than the speed of light. Why would I need a spacecraft? That's what the book of Hermes tells us. You were going to and fro, traveling wherever you need. He wasn't talking about a spacecraft in the book. He was just saying you were in your true self. your light self, traveling from here to there. So when he said, when the effluents came over and said, you need to mind your station, I'm telling you what scholars wrote. You were off gallivanting. Till they said, no. They're too curious. We have to trap them within the body so they don't move. And when that came to us, we started lamenting. These stories are there, bro. These are what our ancestors wrote. Everything else to me is speculation. Jehovah, Allah, whatever you want to say, they're all speculation to me. No definitive source. Just believe. And because they know we have a childlike mind, because they raised us from the cradle, I can tell you anything. Doesn't work like this. Not in today's time.
So do you follow the science of nature?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Nature is the best teacher.
Mm.
That's why even with this argument we've got now, what is a man and what is a woman? I'm like, huh? The animals ain't asking that.
We're living in a battle of duality in this realm. It only operates in this third dimension. You know?
Our senses have become convoluted.
Yeah.
We need to raise above the. That's why we have 5 fingers. We're naturally supposed to be in the 5th dimension.
But then we also have another sixth sense, don't we? We have the third eye.
Yeah.
Pineal gland that's been corrupted.
Through, they literally say it, the Rothschilds, they're gonna poison us through food, water,
Fluoride.
everything, like everything. All our senses
Did they say that?
Yeah.
Then imagine what they do to you in the literature.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more powerful than the literature, because that's straight to your mind.
Yeah.
That's number one.
So when they hear us talking about all these things about Yahweh and this and that, they just laugh. They don't even bother tuning in. Because they know you're still stuck on stupid.
For real.
Yeah.
Because they wrote the God to give and gave it to you.
Mm.
And you took that God and created your paradigm.
Yeah.
You didn't create my paradigm, you created your own.
Yeah.
But I'm not trapped within the cube. I'm outside the cube.
Bars.
Looking down in the cube. Well, they've still got you stuck on Yahweh's going to come down. Don't worry, man. Jesus is coming back on the clouds. You got the Hebrew Israelites still waiting for him to ride on clouds and come home.
Yeah.
But then let's look at what we know from nature. We all had, well, I'll speak for myself. We all know someone who's passed away. Correct?
Yeah.
And then we all know that people pass away. Correct? That's inevitable. We know that babies are born. Correct?
Yeah.
The question is, do the souls after the dead go to a place? Where do they go? Nobody knows. No one's come back and told us that. That when we die, we go to a place. The only person who told you that is the scriptures. But the people, though, who gave you the Bible, when the people who wrote the Bible, when they came to Africa, the first thing they gave you was the Bible. And they took your land. So the land was more expensive than the Bible. Because they know they wrote that on a printing press. About God, Jesus, and a man walking on water calming down the sea and the breeze and the ship. But if I pull down the Odyssey off my shelf and I read the Odyssey and the Iliad, it's the same thing. The trick is to make you look outside yourself. When the very same Bible that you're protecting said, the kingdom of God is within you. So the reason I asked, well, what does that mean? I see someone ask Tyson DeGree, you know, the scientist, the black scientist on YouTube. He was saying to him yesterday that because the universe is expanding through black dark matter that they don't know what it is. That's why that's why my channel is called Black Water. It's called Black Water for a reason. When it expands, they said after our universe goes over the horizon, future generations won't be able to study because we won't be able to see because it's expanding so much. And then the guy said, yeah, and he's going, do you want me to tell you something that's deeper? He says, when you look at the human being and you look up how he's made, the universe is literally within him.
Mitochondria.
Do you understand? So we're on a rock flying through space, depends on your belief, dragged by the sun. We are already in heaven. We're in space on a rock, the third rock from the sun.
Kind of
3
feels like,
is the magic number.
do you know what Ahmed was saying just earlier on about the Holy Trinity, Brother Rich? Sorry to digress.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a good, important question, because what the Holy Trinity, like, I think it relates to what you're saying as well. Like, it's within. The Holy Trinity is the soul, the heart, and the Eros. I think we done a talk as well on Greek mythology, which spoke about what is the soul, and it's 3 parts, isn't there?
That's correct.
So,
But now we've gone back to that, Mark. I'll bring you back to what you said earlier about fire and brimstone. What normally gets a human being sick?
viruses.
And your food, correct? Because you mentioned it earlier, Amot.
Yeah. What you consume.
Okay, let me put it to you this way.
That
What
could be the
happens
food of mind. Yeah.
happens when a person's gluttonous?
I'm not familiar with that, actually. What's gluttonous?
Gluttonous means a person who
it's one of the
eats
sins,
a lot.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It's one of the 7. Is it the 7 sins in the Bible?
One of them, yeah. I'm not. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's one of them.
It is one of them. It is.
Yeah. Gluttony. It's
Gluttony.
a person who eats like a pig.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I feel it's more than eating, though. I feel gluttony kind of encompasses a bit.
It's broader.
Like drugs and alcohol, that type of thing.
Yeah, it's broader. But then what? Okay, then what happens then? Since you've now mentioned that,
You don't
would that make a person sick after a while?
Yeah, you're not giving your body enough rest to regenerate.
And
you know when they say sometimes they say, I don't know if you've heard this before, but when they say when you eat meat, a lot of meat, you shouldn't drink a lot of fizzy drinks
or eat cheese.
Or why?
They say you shouldn't mix meat with cheese in the Bible.
So you've heard of stomach acid though, correct?
Yeah.
The stomach acid, when your stomach's out of sync, the person gets ill. In ancient times, they knew that was a sin. Do you know what they called it? Fire and brimstone. Because they were talking about the anatomy.
Which is why they speak about fasting as well, isn't they?
That's correct. To clear out the system. But when you see something
again, is why I say the Bible, there's truth in the Bible. There's scientific truth that can be beneficial.
All you have to do is present it.
There is truth. There is beneficial, even with pork. I mean, the thing is, a lot of Christians defend that, but in Paul it says don't eat this thing with a split hoof. Is it the split hoof or the Montana? the split hoof, and don't eat that which crawls upon the ocean floor.
Why are you
Bottom
asking
feeders,
Montana
like
for
shrimp.
Does
shrimp.
Montana know the Bible?
Yeah, because she's doing Bible studies at the moment.
Ah, good girl, good girl.
but they say you shouldn't eat. That makes sense because the pig is a bottom feeder, and the shrimp eat shit off the bottom of the ocean floor. So this is what I say. Like, there is things in the Bible that scientifically is beneficial for you, and the Quran as well.
But that all comes from ancient Egypt, the fasting, the prayers, the sacrificing.
You took the word. You took the word right off my tongue, bro. The thing that I was going to say to you, Mark, is that when you're reading the Quran and the Bible, I don't say to people, throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
What I say is, when you begin your journey, the Bible and the Quran should be your starting point. That should be your starting point. But then you don't stop there. Because like I said, everything you say to me, I literally can open up the Greek text and the Egyptian text and the Mesopotamian text and show you wisdom in there. Just Socrates, Plato. Read Plato's book. Because once you read, especially the which one is it? The Apology is good, Phaedo, Minos is the law. Once you start reading the Republic, Socrates was wiser than Jesus. I'm not even, that's not even a second guessing, bro. Socrates was wiser than Jesus.
Sorry,
now,
man.
if Socrates wasn't, tell me what Jesus wrote while he was here.
Well, Paul was the one that wrote about the.
I don't want to hear about Paul. Paul was a drug addict.
Richard, man, you're too much. No, in Paul, I'm saying Richard. Paul was the one that said though in the Bible, isn't it?
Yeah,
was the one spoken about the diet. About the diet, yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of my man there? Have you heard of Jonathan from Jonathan from Tax Sub? Have you heard from Jonathan? You know Jonathan?
No.
No, of course you don't. Because Paul never met Jesus. He hallucinated.
Yeah, but his things were real though. Paul was talking facts though.
Was he?
Like we shouldn't eat swine. We shouldn't eat the swine.
But hold on.
Hold on. Get his knowledge from then?
Yeah, you tell me. Did he get it from Leviticus?
Who knows? I don't know, man.
No, but you're saying that Paul was right.
No, but Paul. I mean, the things in Paul, but then the Christians will still eat the pork because they say. I don't know what their argument is for that.
No one loves bacon. A bacon sarnie.
Yeah. Yeah. But it says clearly in Paul that we shouldn't eat them things.
But it says that in Leviticus.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why that goes over their head, but they've got an explanation for that. I don't know why.
They've got an explanation.
Based on
pork tastes nice, isn't it? Probably.
Say that again.
We're going based on zoology when noology, which is nopu, it clearly states that there was a point of time when we didn't even eat animals at all and we lived in harmony with them. So we don't even used to eat them.
Like that, yeah. I can't remember the Roman author who was writing.
Well, the pig used to eat the leprosy victims, didn't they? The pigs used to eat the leprosy. And
you are right, because they said that human beings eating animals is like eating their brothers. I can't remember. I've got the books here, but you're right when you say that. But not everyone used to do that though, just to make it plain.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is this: have you ever seen the movie Constantine?
Yeah.
With Keanu Reeves.
Montana's like, I love that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. How did he bring the girl over into the other? How did they go over into the other world? How did he make that happen?
Montana knows. What was it? Say it louder. What's that? Look into a cat's eyes. Or putting your feet in water.
Come say it loud. So Montana says, look into a cat's eyes or putting your feet in water.
And the girl, if she remembers the movie, the girl in the end, when he was talking to her, he literally was drowning her.
She says yes.
Okay. So until she reached that point in death, that's when they're saying that the soul leaves. Because there's stories where I can show you initiations.
But what's all the thing about the cat? So what's all that symbology in there about the cat and the water?
Because they say the cat has the ability to see in the afterlife.
Cats are extraterrestrials.
That's what
I've always said that as well, you know, brother.
Where's my cat?
I love cats.
I love cats.
I love cats.
I've done bro.
I've grown up with cats, man, and I've always seen that they've got mystical abilities.
Yes, exactly. I'll give you a tip. Yeah, I done a meditation, and my cat came up to me, and then I put her on my chest in it, and she was just purring, and I was just in a meditate. Yeah, and then I went into a deep theta state where I was in different worlds. Like I was, oh my god.
You wasn't doing what Paul was doing, was it?
And I was my breath was in sync with like the cat's purr in it. So
I
hope you're not taking too much of the mushrooms.
When my mum had cancer, my mum had breast cancer, yeah, and my cat used to come and sit on her and purr, like used to purr and like all the time. This was even before we knew she was sick. Like he used to constantly like be on her and purring. And she didn't even go through chemo or nothing, bro. She beat the cancer, bro. Like I'll give you another example as well. My cat used to always wait on the wall when he knew I was coming home, and I used to come home at different times. And my mum said she always knew when I was on my way home because the cat used to sit on the wall, and the cat knew when I was coming home. You know what I mean? I was a black cat as well. You know what I mean?
See. So they say, it's evil, black. Oh my, the way they paint darkness here.
I tell you, black cats are bad and all that.
I got out that program and I had to rewrite that because
you know that black cats are the least adopted cats.
Funny, innit?
Literally, even the other day, I was walking in the dark and a black cat just came out of nowhere. It started purring, walking towards me. I stroked it. Like, a few years ago, I would have probably ran away because of what the religions say about cats and stuff.
But the cat stole your soul.
Yeah.
So you're saying that we have a soul then, Mark?
Huh?
You're saying that we have a soul then?
Of course.
Okay. We don't need extraterrestrial crafts.
Well, maybe our soul is interdimensional. Maybe
is the soul separate from the body? Oh, well, I can go if you're talking thus, I can understand that.
Yeah, I think the soul is the soul separate from the body. I think we are our souls, and our bodies are a vehicle for this realm, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Okay, I've heard that.
Yeah. This body is not who I am. This is just a vehicle.
So because I hear a lot of black people say that. It's like a catchphrase. It's like, when we say I'm in spirit, it's like that kind of catchphrase, like we're human beings having a spiritual experience. And I'm like, so that we know for a fact that when we die, we go somewhere else, correct?
I would say my near-death experience. Whether that was a hallucination or not, I don't know. But I personally believe that the soul is eternal. The soul.
So when we say that confidently, we're human beings having a spiritual experience.
No, we're spirits having a human experience.
Correct. So therefore, we should not say that anymore if we're not sure about what spirit or soul is.
Spirit is breath.
That's correct.
Spirituality is the art of breathing.
That's correct.
And Richard told me that in an earlier podcast when we was talking about the Greek meaning of what the soul is,
the pneuma,
the logos, and because you said that as well. Amma touched on that as well. Like, is that the Holy Trinity? But I was going to say to you, Rich, like, elaborate on that a bit more, because we come to the conclusion that there is a soul, isn't there, which is driven by desire.
That's
not desire.
Desire, and motion.
well, the desire was one component of the soul, and there was the
Yeah.
heart. There was the heart, and then there was the reasoning, the logic,
That's correct.
the logos,
Yeah,
and that's how we reach enlightenment and knowledge is through the logos.
that's
So the
correct.
seat of the soul is here in this part of where the seat of the soul was in the mind. That's what you kind of.
No, I don't think I said that.
I'm sure you said the seat of the soul was in the mind.
I've heard that.
No,
I was leaning towards that at first, but
I wouldn't know
when
what
I
soul is, or
can I quickly touch on this, please?
yeah,
Go on. Yeah, yeah.
So my thing was, yeah, I used to think that the soul, I still kind of doing it, but I also gravitate because obviously the English language is full of spells. I
Yeah.
was thinking because the bottom of our feet is called soul.
Ah,
So what if that's a way of
the root.
grounding our soul with
Is
the
that the root
earth?
chakra?
Yeah.
The root.
So the root chakra they say is where there's where it's basically the
Penis.
testicles in it.
The joints, the testicles. Yeah.
Yeah. So or the ovary. So yeah. What would you say about that? The soul being on the feet. Is it possible?
I feel. Mm, well, I think the lowest part of us is the lowest part of the soul is the carnal part, which is the desire, which is the reproductive part, which is what the society they target, that sexual part of us.
Yeah.
Like if you look at all the music and all the sex and all that is all
Sex,
part.
money, and drugs.
Yeah, they try and use that. They try and make that the predominant part of us, but that's not. I feel like
We
that's
have
the
to
lower part
transcend.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the
The
highest
first
part
few
of us
chapters.
is the highest part of the soul, is the reasoning part, the logic, the part that deals with enlightenment. So you get the crown chakra, which is when that's where you get like I feel that's where the mind is in that the pineal gland, which is why you get a lot of Buddhists say that this is the where they have the thing here in the forehead. You know
What's
what I mean?
actually funny, I thought I had a spot right where the pineal gland is located. Yeah. For
Yeah,
months, I was like just thinking there was a light spot
yeah.
there, but it's actually, I think my pineal gland,
The third eye opening.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I have a bright spot in the middle,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
not a spot.
yeah,
Weird.
yeah. That was me saying, yeah. I've had that as well. Sometimes when I'm sitting there and I get like a funny kind of ache right here in between my brow.
the Pindagala.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I feel that's when I'm like vibrating to my highest optimal level. That's when I feel it here. You know what I mean?
Because some people say in the mysteries that's where the soul leaves on death.
Mm.
You know where you're pointing to, the Ida Pangala, not the Ida Pangala,
Temple.
the Crystal Galley. It's called right here, the Crystal Galley.
Yes, I
Right
see a lot
there.
of man with tattoos there. Like they got their
Yeah,
thing.
but when you
Yeah,
see the bone, yeah, do you know what it looks
yeah.
like when you see the inside of it?
It looks
You
like
know
the Eye
that
of
thing that
Horus. It looks like the Eye of
no,
Horus.
no, it looks like the Star Trek symbol that they say, "Beam me up, Scotty." You know, they press that symbol on their chest.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's how it looks. I've got a video
Oh,
on it
okay.
on my channel
Have you
where
ever
you
seen the
see, and
dissection of
it's
the
like,
brain?
yeah, because it looks like a butterfly if you look on it.
Yeah.
That's why some of the artists used to wear the butterfly, because it looks like the inside of the skull. And you see
I've also
butterflies
seen.
transform, correct?
Mm.
Yeah.
Tactical.
When you see them doing their art show, they're showing you the symbolisms, but you have to understand the symbolisms.
Silence of the Lambs when they got the butterfly there.
That's right.
God is actually funny,
That's right.
showing us.
Yeah. But I also saw like a side dissection, a side piece of the brain, and they kind of it looks like the Eye of Horus. You know the symbol
Yeah,
with the eye.
yeah.
It kind of, and they said that's the pineal gland is kind of like tied to this part of the brain. I don't know if you've seen it, brother Rich.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've done a class on
Yeah,
it, man.
it kind of looks like the Eye of Horus, no?
If you go to my channel
Yeah,
and the first video that plays, it's
Mm.
called God's Anatomy. You'll see me
Yeah.
going through all of that.
Okay.
That was like 15 years ago or something.
Mm. I think a lot of the foods that we eat, the fluoride and that attacks that part of the
That's
brain.
what they say, but it's not scientifically proven.
It's not scientifically proven.
It's what
No.
you're allowed to believe in your mind at the end of the day.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
like I said, they put all of these things. Like I said, what did they used to say? Give me a child from 1 till 7, and you can have him back, because
Yeah.
at 1 till 7 you're programmed.
Which is what they do anyway. They do that anyway.
But then what did Socrates said? He said, when that happens to a child, he said, do you know how hard that is to reverse?
You can't.
He said, if at all possible, but you
Yeah.
can. There's hope when they open up Pandora's box, but then it depends on how the soul accepts the information.
Yeah.
Because when I'm talking to you, and sometimes and I'm talking to you, you notice you'll keep going, yeah, but it says this in the Bible, because that is where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
That's why you keep going back there.
That's how deep the programming is.
That's how deep. But notice me when I talk about the Bible is just like any other book you buy on Amazon.
Mm.
It's
a
good storybook.
It's about the other reinforced, like our family have reinforced that. You know what I mean?
For centuries.
Our whole kind of reality is based on that.
That's correct.
It's like the Matrix. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to step out of the Matrix, because when you start questioning these things, you're dismantling my whole reality. And
well, that's what happened to Neo, isn't it? He threw up.
Yeah, but even they say, like, even now, see, like when people become enlightened, before the enlightenment stage, they become sick, like they become depressed.
Psychotic thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like depression, because like,
yeah. So you know what, Mark? That's a good thing you just said there.
Yeah.
That's a good thing you said. But you know what this boils down to?
Yeah.
Spiritual psychosis.
You start coming to a reality when you start saying, because this is one of the conversations Tat was having with Trismegistus. And he said, he come to the conclusion, and he's going, nothing in this world is real. Imagine saying that to your son, and your son's going, what do you mean? Because I remember probably about 20 years ago, someone was saying that to me. Yeah. And I was like, I remember even going home, and it was just bothering me, because I was just thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? I can see my computer, I can see my wife, I can see this, I can see, you can see things, but that's not what they mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you get the understanding. That's why I know when you speak to me about God, don't matter which one, I just know they can't be God from their change. Because anything change is dying. Anything that's change is dying or decaying.
When you say change, what do you mean by change? Because as far as I know,
you go into the showroom, you buy a brand new car. From you drive it off the car lot, what do they say?
It's lost its value.
By $2,000 sometimes, correct?
Yeah.
It's dying.
But yet Christianity and the Abrahamic faiths haven't really died, though, because
because mythology can last you for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And in any part of that period of 2,000 years, you can say anything. That's why I said to you earlier, do you think that back in the days, they weren't using the Bible how you're using it? 1,000 years ago, do you think they weren't doing that? The end is coming. This, that. Look at this. France is in an uproar. The king's dead. It's a new world. They were using the scriptures.
Based on fear. It's based on fear, isn't it?
And then you run to the scriptures. Like you said earlier, everything that's happening today is in the Revelation. You said that, correct?
Yeah.
Is the dragon? Do you see the dragon in the book of Revelation?
Well, I see that the Antichrist that they talk about. Because,
no, I'm talking about the dragon that dragged down half of the stars to Earth. So it's an enormous dragon chasing this woman, same woman, with her son. What's the dragon?
I've been taught from a young age that the dragon is Satan, isn't it? That's what I've been taught. The dragon. I've been taught that dragon, because I've got the book of Revelation from Jehovah's Witnesses that shows the dragon on the lake of fire, and that dragon has always resonated with Satan, evil.
Okay.
So that's where I've got. That's how I look at it.
Can you do me a favor? Can you
It'd be the
Google?
Phoenix.
Can you just Google the zodiac? I'll show you your screen when you're ready. Yeah, Mark, we've got about probably 20 minutes left.
Oh, on your thing.
Yeah, as we've gone past 3.5 hours.
Oh, is that the end of your stuff? Your
Till next week.
Zodiac. Am I getting a Zodiac model or
Let's Google
the
images. We'll sure we see it come up.
Zodiac? All right. Yeah, let me share my screen. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Okay.
Or shall I get another
Virgo.
diagram?
You know what?
Let me get another diagram. Hold
Yeah,
on, let me
because
get
these
another
one's a
diagram.
modern one. Yeah.
Yeah. let me
Okay,
get
that
another
one over there.
Yeah.
That one.
All right, wait there.
That purple looking one. Even though
Yeah.
it's not old, but okay, go to Virgo.
Yeah, Virgo. Yeah.
Can you see the woman?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't see it too. I can't really see it on
Can
your
you see it? Can you see it?
No, I can't see it now.
Can you see it?
Okay, I can see it at the bottom there. Okay, so you see the symbolism, correct?
Yeah.
That represents Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
What's the symbol that's attached to the M?
It's like a type of. Oh, sorry. 1 second. Sorry. It's like a mount or something.
The symbol that attached to the M right underneath the woman.
Yeah.
The Ankh.
It's the fish
Oh,
symbol for
oh,
Jesus.
right. Okay, the Ankh. Yeah.
No.
This thing here. That thing there.
No. Listen, can you see the M?
Yeah. This
Can you
thing.
see the symbol? No,
This.
the symbol connected to the M.
Oh yeah, the loop.
Yeah, the other on the other side.
Yeah,
What is that symbol?
This.
fish.
That's Jesus' fish symbol, right? That's what the Christians use.
Yeah,
Ah.
Correct?
correct.
Yeah.
Why is it on Virgo?
But aren't we in the Aquarius age now? Oh,
No,
Jesus.
forget about the queer age, bruv. I'm showing you about Virgo. Why is that symbol attached to the Virgo symbol? And that's the symbol that the Christians use for Jesus' symbol.
I'm bamboozled.
Mother and son. What
Mm.
they call her? Ma and son.
Mm.
That's a Masonic symbol.
Yeah, the M.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
If you look on old pictures of Virgo, she's
Mm.
been chased by a dragon called Hydra in the constellation of Draconis.
The Draco constellation.
That's correct.
Mm.
So when you're reading stories in books of Revelation and you're saying what's going on now is going on in Revelation, and I'm like, but the person who wrote Revelation was talking about the stars.
Mm.
What is the opposite of Virgo Pisces?
You mean it's ascending sign?
Like
Because it's Libra. You have
Yeah,
Libra.
well, is that okay? Is that the opposing sign?
You're talking about the ascending sign, yeah?
I don't really know about that.
I don't really know too much about astrology, like but
Um,
To be honest, I wanted to know more about my birthday. I'm born on the 20th of March.
Ah,
awesome. You're Pisces, aren't you? Oh no,
Well,
you're Pisces. You're on the end of Pisces. Yeah,
you're the 24th, you said?
no, 20th.
20th. Yeah, he's
Ah,
on the end of Pisces. He's on the end
no,
of
he's
Pisces.
not. He's not
Yeah,
Pisces.
the end of Pisces. Yeah, 20th of March.
20th, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's in the end of Pisces.
yeah.
That
Okay,
made
so
me a cusp.
you're from the fish symbol then. You're Jesus sign
Yeah. He's fish symbol.
I'm
Yeah.
because
born on the,
Jesus had 2 loaf of fish, correct?
yeah.
Do you know what I find about all Pisceans?
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on. Jesus had 2 loaf of fish, correct?
yeah.
Fish or bread?
Fish.
Fish.
Oh,
Fish. Yeah. It's,
Listen, what did Jesus do when he fed the 5,000 people?
he gave them fish. Yeah.
And what?
wine
Bread.
and bread.
Right.
Oh,
So in Virgo, she's holding wheat that makes bread, correct?
I don't know. Is it?
You
Montana
don't
says
know what
yeah.
make bread?
Montana says yeah.
Okay, so she's holding wheat that makes bread.
Mhm.
Her ascending sign is Jesus. It's the fish symbol.
So the ascendant sign is the opposite. Yeah.
That's your ascending sign.
Okay.
So when some people say pseudoscience is when I say, oh, you're born on March the 29th,
March the
you're going to meet
Pisces.
someone today and I'm
Yeah.
going to read out your horoscope.
Yeah.
That's called pseudoism.
Yeah.
Your ascending sign is what your nature depends on, and it depends on each degree when you're born. Because
So
what you're
mine's
looking at is a clock.
Mm.
This is a clock of the universe. It's a snapshot when everyone was born.
Mm. Well, yeah, but how do we work that out? Because so what you're saying is that when we're born under certain stars, that predetermines our destiny. Because where's the science in this? Because this, I've always been fascinated by the zodiac because it seems to be accurate, yeah, to people's personality.
It is.
But so what are we saying then? Are we saying that if you're born under a certain gravitational pull of the stars, that's what your destiny is, yeah?
Yeah, but you missed out 3 months, correct? This science people normally pay me for. Well, I'll give it to you. And when you're born, you missed out 3 months, correct?
Yeah.
And earlier, Amut was saying, does that link to the 12 cranial nerves? Did you say that, Amut?
yeah.
Right. So when you're born, you missed out 3 months because you're in a 9 months process, correct?
Okay.
So when you're born in March, which 3 months did you miss out?
February, January, and December.
Now you have to know the gods of those planets to complete the circle.
This is confusing, man. I have to
That's the
understand.
crown of life.
All right, so you missed out 3 months. All right.
You get me?
I'm born on the spring equinox. So does that make me a
You
Pisces?
know, do you know what I noticed with all Pisceans? Because I got a lot of Pisceans in my family, and they're all kind of very into they're woke. And I always thought that because you're the last of the zodiac, you're the 12th sign, isn't it? Pisces is the 12th,
Yeah.
which kind of means that
I'm on the spring equinox, so I'm like last and first at the same time,
Yeah,
which is weird.
yeah, but you're the 12th. You're the 12th sign. So
Yeah,
like
I'm at 29 degrees.
you guys are like G4 Ascension. You know,
What's that?
in like in New Age spiritualism, the Pisceans are kind of like G4 Ascension because you guys are kind of like the most in tuned because you've had 12 lives. You've completed the 12 cycles. of
Bruv,
life.
I've just said something to you and Amot.
Yeah,
When you're born,
yeah.
you missed out 3 months. Which 3 months did you miss out?
The last 3 previous months.
Okay, so for me personally, I missed out. I'm August Leo,
All right.
so I missed out.
So what's the what's the sign for Leo?
So the lion.
Yeah. And what does the symbol, what is the mantra for Leo?
What do you mean the mantra?
The mantra for Leo is the I am.
Mm.
You see, Leo people, you have to check them. You know why?
Why?
The sun rules their house.
Yeah.
You have to dampen them with water because they won't
Fire.
see anything apart from themselves.
I've
That's Leo.
been
Madonna's a
told,
Leo.
I've been told that a lot.
Madonna's a Leo.
Yeah.
That's
been
why
told
the
it.
sign means I'm the I am.
Yeah.
The sun shines out of my ass, literally.
We're stubborn. We're stubborn. We're stubborn. And we're stubborn, and we think we know it all. Yeah.
That's Leo.
Yeah.
But Leos are attracted to Cancerians because Cancerians are water sign.
Well, okay, that's the opposite. Well, but it says that Aquarius, no? Aquarius.
Well,
Aquarius,
you've got water, fire, and air signs, correct?
yeah. Aquarius is air, isn't it? Yeah.
So regardless of how people say, yeah, but that's Sudan, I'm like, you go out with a girl, and within a week you're like, me and this girl ain't getting on.
Yeah.
Because we're just clashing.
Yeah.
But
I
with
find
another
that Leos,
dude,
I find that air signs go well. I find that air signs go well with Leos. Like, because kind of like air gives oxygen to the fire. And it can also blow us out as well.
so can water.
Which is why we clash.
That's right. Because with those two signs, Cancer and Leo, we're the only signs in the zodiac that's ruled by one god.
We're fixed signs. Fixed.
No, we're ruled by one god.
Cancerians.
So the sun rules
Cancerians
Leo,
are Earth.
and the moon rules Cancer.
Oh. Is Cancer Earth?
No.
So what? Water rules Pisces and fire rules Aries.
Fire rules Aries, yeah.
So Aries, they're normally fiery in conversations.
Yeah, very confrontational, angry.
It depends on how they control it.
I feel like I'm both though.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
why I said it depends on how you
feel like
control it.
there's like evolved signs and devolved signs. So like if you're an evolved Aries, you'll be different from one that's not, because I mean,
Let me say that.
I can't get on with Leos. I can't get on with my own sign because
No, why can you, man? Everybody sees themselves as themselves.
yeah, I can't, because they're just they're assholes. They're assholes.
Well, I would say they're assholes, but
No, they are, man. They're assholes, man.
You notice when you see Jesus, he's always hugging up a lion
Mm,
because Judah represents Leo.
mm.
Leo spelt backwards is Elo. So people born under that sign, I shouldn't really say this.
Think they're
A few of my ex-girlfriends have been Leo.
and they think the sun shines out their ass. Yeah.
Bro, they have their good side. Yeah?
Yeah.
They're very kind,
And loyal.
very loyal.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ.
When they're angry, their temper, flipping hell. Like if you cross them, boy.
So when you're born under the 9 months, the 3 signs that you've missed out, you haven't completed the circle.
Yeah. So how do you know why the 3 signs? Why do you say that the 3 months? Where's that from?
Because if you're born, say you got a person got impregnated in December. Yeah?
Mhm.
December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July,
9 months though, isn't it? Pregnancy is 9
by
months though.
September, the person's born in September. All right?
So where'd you get the 3 months from then?
Hey, hold on, bro. I'm explaining it to you.
Okay, sorry.
We're working out the science. December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That means October, November, and December.
Why?
Because those are the 3 months you didn't go through. Do you understand?
Yeah, kind of. But I
Okay, look.
thought when you're born, innit? When you're born on that month, you're born.
From January, right?
Mm-hmm.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Correct?
9, yeah.
So what's the other months that you weren't born in? Because there's 12, correct? So there's 3 missing.
Oh, because 9 months, yeah, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, 9. Okay,
So is
okay.
it the three ahead
Ah,
or the three
okay,
previous?
because because 9 months of pregnancy. Okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah.
So you missed out on 3 gods.
But
That's
I thought
why
it's
you're
when
not
you were
complete.
born. So it's not when you were born into this earth, when you were birthed. It's when you was conceived.
That's correct.
Ah,
And they tried to show you this in the Bible because where was Jesus born?
Supposedly Easter, isn't it?
No, where was he born?
Oh, Jerusalem,
No, where was he born?
Bethlehem
Bethlehem. Yeah. So,
Where was
in
he born?
Israel, in
Where
Jerusalem,
Israel.
Israel,
push him out?
Israel,
Where was he? Where was he?
Jerusalem.
Where do women go to have their babies?
Oh, in a stable
Thank you. What do you keep in stables?
or
Horses,
horse.
Animals.
What are you
animals,
telling me? Okay.
What do you have in the zodiac?
animals.
That's right.
So what horse was he? Sagittarius.
Geez, well,
Lamb.
no one really knows where his birthday is.
Mary had a little lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
Capricorn.
they were always talking about the zodiac.
Mm.
So Aries.
Could be a
That's-
Capricorn,
it's
isn't it?
like no,
Capricorn is the lamb, isn't it?
he was
Wasn't
Pisces.
he?
That's what's his symbol. He's Pisces.
Wasn't he? So was he born on the spring equinox?
If I told you that, that would be pseudo information.
Oh, it's a question.
Yeah, I don't really, because there's so much things about controversy about when he was born. It doesn't say that in the Bible.
I'm saying it in a term of like,
Well,
because it was a
they say
divine.
the house of the water bearer, don't they? The house of the water bearer.
No,
So-
that's what he said to his disciples. When his disciples said, "When will we see you again?" and he said, "Look for the water bearer."
So
Right?
it's a water sign, no?
Yeah, the water bearer is a water sign. Some people say that, but some people say it's an air sign too, because of the glyphs that's mark it. There's a whole sign.
Because he was born when spring when spring
Yeah,
life came in it. The rebirth. The
yeah,
rebirth.
but to say when he was born is to saying that he was historical.
So the first age, though, the first age was Leo, wasn't it?
The first what?
The first age in humanity was Leo.
No one can tell you that.
We're in the age of Aquarius right now, correct?
Yeah,
How
but
do we work out the ages of the constellations? How do we work out what age we're in?
that's exactly.
That's thousands of years. I
That's
think
exactly.
each side, each full.
Because
No,
I hear people
each
say we're in the age
quarter-
of Aquarius, but I don't know how they work that out.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is a full cycle 144,000 years.
A full cycle is, I think, 2,995,000 years.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why some people say Egypt is older, because they've said, some people have purported that Egypt have seen 3 of those cycles.
Mm.
And it's still standing.
And that's why I was trying to say, don't go on to what they're telling you about in the Bible, because that's not 6,000 years of history.
Yeah.
That's the pill you've swallowed. My job is to get you to swallow the red pill.
Yeah.
What about the purple pill?
Yo, Mark, I'm gonna run this until it cut off, man. If you see it cut off, then you know my time.
How long you got left?
I can't really tell from here now. It's just like it's coming up to 4 hours.
So we're gonna say you're gonna pay for the upgrade.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it still. If we're streaming a lot, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because it seems like our streams go on for 4 hours at least.
Yeah, I noticed.
Not
Like,
just standard. Because
yeah,
we always end up on the other side of the rabbit hole.
yeah. Amor, do you subscribe to the channel?
Yeah.
Okay, good, man.
That's how I got notification that you went live.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're planning to do it like every Friday and so forth, or just have different conversations and so forth. So, if you
it was a good discussion, man. You know what I mean? Because we all kind of we all brought something to it. You know what I mean? This is good.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot.
And that's how we're supposed to discuss things instead of fighting and arguing. You understand?
Yeah.
So we,
Bro, Rich, have
Yeah.
you checked out another brother called Brother Rich from America, and he has a YouTube channel,
I think I know him. You know. Yeah.
Black Magic
Yeah.
363?
Yeah. Yeah. I know them. I know them. I know them.
Yeah. Why did you get hosted on their channel? You'll be a good speaker, I believe so.
Yeah. You know what it is. Some of the information I would challenge still.
That's all right though.
It's you coming with your knowledge to present to the public and the people that want to listen. You can make it about anything you want.
Yeah, I know some of the people he had on there. Like he had A.A. Rashid on there because I've been watching, like A.A. Rashid. Me and him is probably the only two that used to teach Kabbalah. I mean,
I need to hook you up with my friend as well.
Well, you know what it is? To be honest with you, there's not really a lot going for the UK, and I'm trying to.
Exactly. I was gonna say, like, to be honest, there's not. See what the knowledge you're talking, Richard, is like. It's not even out there in the UK yet. To be honest, like I feel like this channel is like a gold mine. This is like a gem.
In the future, people will see that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this is like a gem. Like I feel like it needs more momentum.
Yeah, it will get momentum because I'm out. The Americans, they've got their thing. I think in the UK we haven't that much, so I'm trying to just capitalize. We used to do it on Titans TV, but Callum's kind of like
he's got Manosphere. He's got Manosphere a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got Manosphere. So we have to kind of build back our own chat. Like I can do an American chat, like smashing. But
and I think it's going to be a slow burner because, and there's not. At least you know the following that you get is going to be real, like a real authentic following. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's not many people that are on this that we're on.
That's right.
There's not many, man. Like people are just kind of just dumb, not dumb, but like ignorant and following Andrew Tate, whatever. People are not really on esoteric knowledge. I mean,
He's part of the opposition. People don't realize.
I feel my man, yeah, definitely. He's like controlled opposition. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what that sound means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, big up Amit though, man. Amit, it's a pleasure talking to you, bro.
Nah, for real. I appreciate the conversations we had today, man.
It's nice to meet people that. It's nice to be connected with people that are, you know what I mean, open-minded. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, for sure. Likewise, man. Appreciate the discussion, debate, and the knowledge today.
Yeah.
Definitely opened neural pathways in my brain.
Definitely. Yeah. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, isn't it? Like, expanding your mind.
So, Mark, if anything, you're gonna have to do some host, bro, because you must have some hours left. You know what I mean?
Say again, sorry, Rich.
You're gonna have to do some host.
Can't hear you. Rich.
I said mine's renewed on the 8th, so you're probably gonna have to do some hosting if we go.
Yeah. I'll host it, man. I might just do a paid thing as well because it makes sense.
It's gonna cut off in a minute. So.
Yeah. But yeah, man. This is what it's about. This is good.
High level conversations.
Yeah. I think your music overpowers your speech, Rich.
Yeah, I'm saying if we're not going church or to the mosque or anything like that, we can meet here at least once a week. And
this is our church, isn't it? Yeah,
that's right. You know what I mean? So,
what time do you guys normally tune in?
Like normally 10.
10
on Friday, but we do some during the week as well. Like if we can get a time during the week, we throw one in during the week if we can. Yeah. Eventually, I think the next one we get it on my channel then.
Yeah, I mean this is probably gone now because I know my hours is up.
Yeah, if you don't mind, man, subscribe to me as well, like Cosmic Rider.
Cosmic Rider.
Yeah, I'll subscribe to you as well. Yeah, man, this is something new, innit? This is something that's not really being done.
That's why I want to just, keep pushing.
Yeah.
If you guys ever need like any type of assistance in terms of like technology wise, integrating like flows for your like live streams,
To be honest,
having it more organized, like I can give you like steps in it where you can
Yeah.
use AI and
do you know
whatnot.
anything about SEOs? Like, because I feel like that's what we need. We need like to write our titles a bit
Yeah,
better.
definitely. I can help with that 1,000,000%.
Do you want to log on now or we log on to yours? Because I know this is going to cut off in like a second.
All right then. I'll
If you lot
log on
want
to
to
mine.
talk, it's up to you lot still.
Yeah, could do if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. All right. Let me So I'll send me the link. All right. Let me
Let's
go live on mine, and then just look out for the link in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right, cool. I'll see you soon.